Well, it's that time again. It's time for some more FIFA esports in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. The city has treated us to some epic virtual battles thus far, and we're expecting something even more heated tonight as we see Group C and the most competitive group we have ever assembled at a World Cup. Group D, they are both in action. We have world champions, Libertadores champions, E-Champions League champions, Dutch champions, and Danish champions as well. It's a group which is absolutely stacked. We are calling it the Group of Death. I think it's even more than that. Like I just said, it is the most competitive group we think we have ever seen here at a FIFAe World Cup. And I think everybody on the couch will agree with me as well. We've got a former world champion, August Rosemeyer. We've got Mike Labelle in action, Richard Buckley and Alex B as well. All in the house and ready, I hope, to say yes, they agree that Group D is special, boys.
Well, objectively as well. I checked the stats, I went through many years of research here. We've never had a group with more achievements or accolades, especially on the world stage. So I don't even think it's an opinion piece anymore. This is the most successful group of all time in a FIFAe World Cup.
Can we get hands up if we concur? We all concur. That's exactly what I'd like to see. Aggie, would you have liked to have been in Group D?
Both, and I mean, if you're going through that group, the amount of confidence you get, the boost, and as well, like, you want to play against the best players, you're in for those games, but still, it's a group of death, so no one likes to be in it. But I think when you are one of the best, as they are, the players in that group, they like it. They fancy themselves still to win it.
Well, actually, Alex, that's something we heard earlier, didn't we, from Tex? He said he really ups his game when he plays the best in the world. So, if we take that into consideration, maybe he would have liked to have been in Group D.
Yeah, he might have liked to have been indeed. But I think as well, when you're going on that point, you know you're playing talent after talent, no matter what group you're in. But there is something extra special about that Group D. If you can take that confidence and you can go through and say, look, I've got through this stage and I'm into the knockouts, they'll be very happy with that.
Well, we've spoken quite a lot about Group D. Let's quickly jump over to Group C. Rich, you can pick out some big names here as well. Paolo Neto, Mike's gone for Paolo Neto as his world champion. Stokes then for hashtag. It's great to see him make the trip over here. Johnny, RVP legend, Oberon and K1 John. Rich, what do you make of Group C?
It's a great group. I think you're probably looking Paolo Neto out of the success he had last week to go through. Oberon as well, fantastic player. I'm sure every single chat that we're in right now is filling up with hashtag Stokes fans. He is a fan favourite. Maybe not in the arena here in Saudi Arabia, but online he has garnered an audience that are die-hard Stokes fans. And Johnny as well is a fabulous FIFA player.
Mike, I'm going to come back to you with Group D. Do you want to just go down some accolades there? Starting with Yilmaz, E-Champions League. Do you want to carry on?
Yilmaz might be the most informed if you look at the ECL result last year. Looked good at the World Cup, kind of his rookie season. Damian, Damesheet, he was at the World Cup last year, didn't do well. I think he's building in the right direction. Unfortunately, he's in Group D. Nicholas, I don't know where to start here. We got pretty much all the championships you could ask for the most part. E-Club made the finals of the World Cup. He's won the ECL. We can just keep going. The face of Argentina. PH Zin, we just saw the 2v2 back-to-back. Arguably the greatest 2v2 partnership we've ever seen. He's the only guy that was on both those teams with Brazil. Manu Bashir, people are overlooking him. They shouldn't. Team Hullet, another one of those prime-time components. And then Anders Vergang is the wonder kid, and he's confirmed to be the real deal. And I'm next to August Rosemeyer. We've already seen him win the 2v2 in E-Club. You've said it. You think he's hands down the best 1v1 player to kind of ever hit the scene. He hasn't proved it just yet. He's early on in his career. But you think he's going to win the entirety of this event here? Is you staying true to that? Any change of heart? We haven't got into gameplay. You can still switch it up.
I talked to him just before, and he didn't seem bothered. So yes, I think he's going to win.
Well, Mike there just said about Aggie being the real deal. He has very much been the real deal in his career. He's won the World Championship himself back in 2014. Aggie, I mean, these must take you back a few years.
Hey, look at that handsome man. I mean, I'm talking about El Fenomeno. I'm talking about El Fenomeno. But yeah, as we saw, that was in Munich, where I was so close to actually defend my title back-to-back. And there were pictures of New York where you also see the disappointments, because I got grouped. We were at the Times Square and I received my own controller, and we met Frank Lampard as well. So a lot of nostalgic memories right there, summed up very shortly, and it just goes to show an entire career there. There was ups and there were downs.
We saw Mr. Dunn as well, didn't we, in the back of shot there. He is not over my shoulder. He'll be out there at some point. Obviously a local guy. He was a world champion as well for Saudi Arabia, lifting that trophy. But wanted to just highlight that, Aggie, because some people might go, we always talk about it, and it's lovely to see those pictures once again. When you watch those, does it really take you back to that moment? And do you get a little bit nervous watching it?
I get happy. I mean, it's always nice to look back and see all the memories, all the competitors and friends I met there, the ups and the downs, as I was speaking about, the players that I met throughout the competition, such as R9 and Frank Lampard and Alaba in Munich, and also the disappointments. I mean, in Munich, I remember that semi-final against a French player called Dassenville, where I thought, this is it. I'm going to write history now. I'm going to be the first to ever defend the title, and I lost on penalty shootout. So, I mean, it's great memories, even the bad ones.
Well, Aggie, you had such a stellar career, and I know actually one person who I'm sure would have been motivated by watching that man would be this chap who is coming up next. It's a massive matchup, and I'm talking about Anders Bergang, of course, the wonder kid from Denmark. He's taking on the Iceman, Nicholas 99 FC from Argentina. Richard Buckley, my mouth is watering just watching that.
Ridiculous game. We've seen him in action earlier this season, the E-Champions League, the knockouts. Anders beat him on that occasion to not allow Nicholas the opportunity to defend his title, but we're going to see it twice over the next 2 days. One-legged games. Oh, every game in this group is ridiculous.
If you guys are just joining us, no, that's not the grand final. That's just the first round of the groups as well. That's how competitive these groups are. We've chatted about a couple of the players. Let's get ready to meet them as they enter the arena. Well, this is our first player here, then Emre Yilmaz from the Netherlands. He's the E-Champions League champion from this year, ranked 9th in Europe. He'll be strong competition. I saw him at breakfast earlier. He's excited to be in that group. And we obviously had PH Zin just follow him out as well. And then next up is Damsheet there from the Netherlands. He actually stopped, didn't he, Anders Bergang, massive run, which he had back in FIFA 19, as we see Paulo Neto enter the arena. That's Mike Lebel's pick, who's part of that Brazilian team we saw win the title only a couple of days ago now. That was, of course, the E-Nations Cup. This is Stokes from the UK. He won the 2019 playoffs, and he was the E-Premier League champion this year with Ololito. Playing for Hashtag. Can't wait to see how he gets on. Manu Bashir then from the Netherlands. He was a runner-up, of course, only a couple of days ago as well in the E-Nations Championships. He'll be wanting to right those wrongs. Ranked 21st in the world. Then we've got Oberon, the Italian. He was a semi-finalist only a couple of days ago. He actually topped his group in 2022 at the World Cup. He'll be wanting to do that and some, I'm sure. And we have K1 John. He's also in these groups. He's coming from Egypt. He's in Group C. We missed, of course, Johnny as well, who entered the arena. And Nicholas the Iceman came out as well. We know all about him. 12 more players then. We miss a couple. They want to see all their nerves. We don't get to see them all here. That man, Manu Bashir, has he managed to, I guess, just feel a little bit better about being a runner-up only 2 days ago in the Nations Cup? Aggie?
I think he feels good. I mean, all the players who played the 2v2, I think they reset now. They're thinking about this one. For them, for the majority of them, I think this tournament is it. That's the one they really want to win. So they're really motivated, and I think for Manu, he's ready as well.
Well, I think someone who will be extra motivated as well is last year's runner-up. We know how that went. Umit defeated him in a penalty shootout. He is back to become world champion. He only has one thing on his mind. Will he achieve it? We'll find out in a few days' time.
With a teammate, it's different because it's more communication. You have to practice together, but I prefer to play individual because I am alone. I have my own stuff, and also in duos it's different because maybe you play really straight and I play maybe I'm a bit defensive, you know, and different style. You have to agree many opinions, and I really like because it's fun. But 1v1 is the main thing about FIFA esports, and I really like it and I really enjoy it. Every tournament, especially World Cup, with this best of one format, is like you have to take it like step by step. In the sense, like for me, my first game is against Anders. He played really good 2v2, but it's different. And I think also he plays really good 1v1. He's one of the best, but I don't care. Like I am in the hardest group, I think group of death, but that's okay. It happened the same the last year. I went through and I went to the final. But yeah, it was a pity to lose against someone great player, but was a bit unlucky to lose some pens. And also I think I was better, but I will try to take, as I say, in the positive way, many things that it's happening to me. But I'm really confident. Like I don't care who I'm playing. Like I just want to win, and I will try to do what I need to destroy them.
Wow, 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 Spencer. Strong words there. He will do what he needs to do to destroy them. That is coming from a place of heartbreak from last year, isn't it?
Yes, indeed. He's someone that really wants to get the trophy, but I'm sitting next to someone who really wants to get it as well. And as we just heard from Nicholas there, he said he's going to do what he has to do to try and destroy his opponents. Is he capable of destroying you?
I've only had like 1 day to prepare for 1v1 since I've been here in 2 weeks already, but I will beat him in each Champions League. I know I'm better than him, so I will do my best to get out of this group.
It is a very tough group, isn't it? Is there one game in particular you think is going to be the hardest?
Not really. I think, yeah, I mean, like every player in the group is good and have like a different story in the game, so it will be very hard. But I will just do my best to get out of this group and be ready for a round of 16.
Obviously, we saw you win the E-Club World Cup a couple of weeks ago. What would it mean for you to win this one?
Yeah, I can't describe. I don't want to think about the feeling. I will just do everything I can, and let's see how far I can go.
Okay, best of luck, Anders. It's a really tough group, as we mentioned, and as the guy said, every game is just an absolute highlight, to be honest. Right, in the other group, Group C, we've got an Italian who also qualified for all 3 events, Oberon. We're going to talk to him quickly now. Oben, we've seen a lot of you over the last few weeks, and we've seen slow improvement. You know, got out of the group with Exceed, knocked out in the first knockouts, then you went all the way to the Final Four with Italy. Does that mean that this is a tournament where you go the distance?
I hope maybe also this time the group will be hard, I don't know, but I will try to improve fast because I play like 10 days 2v2 and now it's hard to change in 1v1, but it's an hard group. I will try to do my best.
How different is 1v1 than 2v2 for you? Do you prefer it?
I prefer to play 1-1, 2-2, I don't know, because I love to play 2-2 because it's the idea of team. You depend on the other one. So I love to play 2-2, but also 1-1 because this year I want revenge from last year and I will try to do my best.
Okay, best of luck, my friend. Seeking revenge, representing Team Exceed. Can he go the distance? He's qualified for all 3 events. This is the only one left that he can win, along with the likes of many other players here who want this trophy. Only one of them can get it.
Yeah, long way still to go, isn't it, for Groups C and D. Oben, of course, was semi-finalist last year. Alex, I wanted to come to you, though, a little bit about Anders. First time, really, he hasn't been super confident and direct in his answer, saying he's going to win. Do you agree?
Yes, that's one thing I was noticing when he was in that interview. Very different to the way he was 2 weeks ago in the Club World Cup. The Club World Cup, it was, I'm here and I'm going to win. Pretty simple. Just he's going to beat every single opponent that they come across. A lot more respect put across the players in that group, which I kind of like that from Anders as well, because we've seen him be so dominant over the times where he does want to go out and say, I'm going to win every single game. Just putting respect on his peers. We know if he plays his game, though, he will find himself through that group.
Aggie, do you read much into that? Is he a little bit nervous as we get underway in that match? Nicholas taking on Bergang?
No, I actually just think he wanted the game to start. Short answers, but yeah, he still showed a lot of respect, and I like that because obviously he's a very direct guy in terms of communicating, but he still respects these other players.
Well, this is the big one. We were teasing you with it, weren't we, a few moments ago, and now it is here. This is box office stuff. Nicholas 99 FC taking on Anders Vergang. It is round one, you are not mistaken. Let's go.
Yeah, an unbelievable game, it has to be said, between Nicholas and Anders Vergang. You've got a former runner-up, a top 4 in multiple E-World Cups, an E-Champions League winner, up against the Wonder Kid, the E-Club World Cup, the man who lived and breathed one leg of FIFA throughout an entire FIFA season, Anders Vergang. It is true FIFA box office. For a match of this magnitude, we will give you something special for the groups. Let's head on over to Brandon Smith. I think we're going to do a little bit of commentary on this one, aren't we?
Yeah, we're in for a bit of a treat on this one, aren't we? We could not commentate this group of death that we are calling it here. Such a stacked group, so much anticipation, so many big names in it. But the problem we have, Rich, only 4 of them can qualify for the knockout stages. Nicholas versus Anders Vergang. We'll keep a close eye on this one. We have to. Whilst plenty of other games are currently going on, we have breakthrough between Derby and Manu Bashir, the all-Dutch game. Here's a chance for Nicholas knocking on the door of Anders. No way through, 15 minutes in.
And we have got multiple other matches taking place. Hashtag Stokes up against the man from Exceed, Oberon. Seemed pretty confident, it has to be said, when Spen spoke to him on the stage. Dame Sheet and Manu Bashir. 2 names that maybe are just going on the periphery of this group of death. It was an early goal for Dame Sheet, going 1-0 up against Manu Bashir. And Michael Bell will be joining us in this matchup to highlight everything Nicholas and Anders Vergang.
The reality is, when you look at these guys kind of going under the radar, it's only because everyone's name is a headliner. And also in all the Stokes matches, I expect it to be high scoring. The way that Stokes plays, he puts you under a lot of pressure. Kind of unique for this day and age. Also coming in as the oldest competitor, most experience of any of the competitors, and he's going to give you all-out offense.
As we jump on board here, this is Johnny from Germany. Great player, FC Paderborn is his team. Got to see a lot of him in the virtual Bundesliga not too long ago, Brandon. He's leading 1-0 up against the Egyptian K1 John.
Yeah, well, his story's pretty interesting, isn't it, for Johnny? He was actually got in through the play-ins. He was never actually guaranteed to get into the playoffs, went to the play-ins after an unbelievable virtual Bundesliga run. A great example of him and Berke Line, 2 players that just, their season peaked at the right time. Here comes Anders Vergang. First time we've really had a proper look at him in Nicholas's half. He was quite animated in a couple of practice games before he got going today, about an hour before the show officially did start. He says he's only played a couple of practice games after the 2v2 ended. I'm not sure how much I read into that.
Plenty more action underway. Johnny did take the lead. However, K1 John answers right back. 1-1 between Johnny and K1 Johnny, as PhD and Emre Yilmaz are underway. Emre Yilmaz, the Champions League winner, runner-up last week at the E-Nations Cup, trying to get a bit of revenge against the Brazilian PhD.
Here's Nicholas, player lock, looking to find a way through. How about that one? A little La Croqueta from Nicholas. The Iceman looking for some revenge after that E-Champions League big matchup.
And that was oh so silky. You had the player lock, the switchback, the bait and switch, the extra pass, then into the La Croqueta with the shot cancellation, out of the La Croqueta with the finish. Talk about some confidence.
Unbelievable. Oberon doubles his lead, player lock into the box. Stokes 2-0 down. Let's jump back into the live shots here between Nicholas and Anders Vergang. It was a moment of magic, it has to be said, from Nico in the box.
And what I should mention with Stokes is that he's going to win big, lose big. He's that type of player with pushing bodies forward. which makes for entertaining FIFA, and I'm here for it.
Also, probably not a lot of draws. You only got to win 4 out of the 10. And probably through on 12.
Be careful. There's the step overs. There's the ball rolls coming out from Nicholas. It's going to really just have to take this at his own pace. It's best of 1 FIFA. What I want to put back to you, gentlemen, is it's going to get very interesting in the group stage if Anders Vergang was to lose his first couple of games here. Here's RVP legend Palanetto, 1 goal down in the first half there.
Well, you know he's playing next. Emre Yilmaz.
There's no hiding, is there?
Nicholas game 1, Emre Yilmaz game 2. Dameshie and Manu Bashar putting on a classic there. That's 1-1 in the opening 32 minutes as Nico builds up again. Edge of the box, could be a chance. Good defending from Anders.
Chance to potentially counter-attack for Anders Vergaan. Long ball forward, looks for the path for Thierry Henry. Heads that one down nicely into R9. Nicholas dealing with all the pressure that is coming his way so far here. First half of action from Group C and Group D. This is the FIFAe World Cup final you are watching here today. Remember, 4 days of action. This is only the start of it.
And every match has already had a goal, if not multiple goals. We're not dealing with clean sheets. It's not been a cagey affair.
Especially after last year for Dameshie as well. 2-1 leads against Manu Bashar. Only 40 minutes into that game. A lot of half-times around the grounds, as you said. Stokes, if you're a Stokes fan, I should say, 2-0 down as it stands, 40 minutes in. Here's the goal that you missed from Dameshie. Keen this time, Richard, not to go out in the groups.
Oh, absolutely. And he also has improved a lot over the last 12 months, has Dameshie. He knows that performance wasn't reflective of him as a FIFA player.
He also might feel like he's playing with house money. We talk about all the other players, and most commentators, analysts, even fans are probably somewhat writing off Dameshie in terms of what he can actually accomplish in this group. And now he can go out there and play kind of freely. He can play with a little more fluidity. He doesn't have to second guess. He doesn't worry about some of that additional pressure.
See, Oberon coming forward here. It could be a third player lock into the box. He's going to get another chance. Little cancel. Twisting, turning. Stokes defends well.
I just wanted to say on top of that, it's a tough game for Damien and Manu Bashar. They were teammates at the Eredivisie this year. They won the tournament together. Now they're up against each other in a FIFAe World Cup. I think the thing that I just can't believe in this Group D, all 3 Dutch players in the same group. Emre Yilmaz is teammates with Manu Bashar in the Club World Cup. As I said, Dameshie and Manu Bashar were teammates in the Eredivisie. You can't write some of these storylines. Looking at that game right now, it is Emre Yilmaz that leads PH in by a goal to 0. Keep in mind, PH in off the back of that E-Nations Cup victory only days ago. Looking for an equaliser here. A couple of step overs into reverse elastico. No way through.
He should be doing better there as well. He got the reverse elastico out, middle of the pitch. You thought it might have been a deflection. Not quite, so you just put it wide.
It's a big performance this as well, because points are going to be premium in this group. There might be a few draws. There might be a few sort of shutout 0-0s I can see as we got late. Getting boards on the early and banking them is very, very important.
I'd agree with that completely, because it puts pressure on your opponents where they know, even if they don't want to think about it, that they have to go for games, that they have to see out a game, that they can't misplay. They don't have a margin.
3 changes there at half-time for Anders Vergaan, you just saw, or maybe 4 of them, I should say. It's gone for all 5. No, 4 changes at half-time.
And I didn't think his interview with Spencer was, I guess, as subdued as they tried to bring it up on the couch. I still felt that he said, I beat him before, I'm better than him, I'm going to do that again. I still heard that.
It's convincing, but un-Anders-like. Like, we expect him to go, I'm winning the entire thing, just because that's what we've been led to believe how he speaks. However, he also is a FIFA esports fan, and he watches, and he knows the level of the competition around him.
Here he is. Here's Anders. Big save from Van der Sar. Some of those changes just to highlight. Jude Bellingham comes on, Kevin De Bruyne comes on, Hakimi and Ronaldinho. Those were the 4 changes at half-time made from Anders. I mean, I've got Coach Daniel over his shoulder. Maybe they're looking for a different play style to try and find a way past Nicholas.
Well, this is the reality, Brandon. As we're going to take a look at another game, we've got Johnny versus K1 John. A lot of space to work with here for Johnny. Lays it off, extra pass. Easy finish for Ruud Gullit. I was going to say, if you're Nicholas, you want to slow down the game. This is where one leg can be beneficial because he already has that opening goal. If you're Anders, you're trying to speed up the game. You want high pressure. You want organized chaos, if you will.
Here is Nicholas. I think he'd happily sit on a 1-0 lead, but why not try and double it? Have to remember the heartbreak from last year. A penalty shootout in a grand final. There has been goals going in other games. Here's Anders Vergaan.
He's in.
There's the fresh legs potentially coming in. Mbappe driving forward. It's Anders. Keeper's teased off his line. But the shot's time green. And just so much space appeared there for Anders to exploit.
And there was a lot happening as well. Goalkeeper movement everywhere. Anders waits it out, kind of baits it. Additional dribble, green time finish. No reaction, which I'm surprised because we also have an audience, quite an audience in the room.
Let's have a look at a goal back here for #Stokes. It was 2-0 down. Lovely pass. The Travella. 2-1 in that game, 10 minutes left to play in that one. For me, look, the step over just created all the space. He did it early on the halfway line. He accelerated, and in that position then, he had so much time to think about it. They're almost the ones you don't want when you've got time to think, when you see the goalkeeper starting to move. He kept his head down, green timed it, minimised the error, and we said points are going to be premium, could be shared in this opening matchup.
Back to our main focus matchup here. 25 minutes left to be played. Just looking at the run of games we've got coming your way. So many blockbuster matches in Group D. You're right to say every game is a big one. Goals are going in all the other games. Here's one for you. Manu Bashir of Team Hull. It was 2-1 down against Damien. Back in the tie. Loads of time left in that one. 60 minutes on the clock.
We've got 20 minutes left in a number of the games. Stokes bearing down on goal, cuts it across. It's very ugly, but he don't care one bit. 2-2.
What a touch.
In this Group D right now, 68, 62, 60 and 70.
All these games are living up to the hype.
They're all drawing. Everyone's going on 1 point after the first round of fixtures.
Only clean sheet is actually with RVP going up against Palinetto at the moment. Everybody else is on the board.
Here's Anders looking for a second. Everything is green in the box, which Nicholas should be slightly fearful of. Fortunate enough, there was a player in the way. Game that we haven't said too much about. A quick update for you. RVP legend is leading Palinetto still. PH Zin is back in the tie. Time that one green. Top bins from the Brazilian.
The quality of the goals is unbelievable. We're seeing so much of the player lock, the back and forth, the reading of the game.
Hello. 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 Anders Vergaan takes the lead. And it was a lovely piece of build-up play. All the skill moves are out. It was silky, it was smooth. And there's one player that they've all come to watch. And he goes by the name of Anders Vergaan. 2-1 he leads.
The problem with this Group D, the quality in it, nobody can make a mistake. You have to play it at 10 out of 10. As you see, RVP legend and Paolo Neto here. RVP 2-0 up in, I'd say, a little bit of a surprise.
I think RVP Legend is one of those players that's under the radar and he can make a run. It's still early on. You're looking at me because I took Palinetto. It's still early on. He's also not in the Group of D, or the Group of Death in Group D.
Well, another goal that's gone in. #United against Team Exceed. Stokes against Obra. Which way has it gone? Top 4 last year. Oh no. Oh no, Stokes. Dispossessed in his own box. Obron's going to take that all day long. How long is left in that tie? Goal went in the 76th minute. Just over 10 minutes left to be played here. We'll quickly check into Yilmaz against PH Zin. Was it Emre Yilmaz that took the lead? Yes, it was.
That's live. Live shots as well. Emre Yilmaz 2-1 up with 6 minutes left to play. PH Zin looks very upset with himself because there was a big opportunity as we just joined that game with the defender falling into the back of the net and Oberon on his feet. I would imagine that's 4-2.
Mikhail Darwin, it's time for the hairdryer treatment.
He looks smart though, doesn't he?
Well, goals are going in everywhere. That's Obra making it 4 goals to 2. We had a goal in the Johnny John game. The goal of all the Johnnies. 10 minutes left to be played there. Stokes, big job on his hands. Does make a couple of changes. Including Petacek on the pitch. Back to this one now. 50 minutes left to be played. Nicholas was leading. Anders Vergaan scored 2 goals to turn it around. Remember, this is only group play. They will play again tomorrow in the first match of the day. What can we see here? Anders looks to try and find that ball from Ronaldinho into R9. Not able to happen.
And I'll be completely honest, when Nico's 1-0 up at half-time, 45 minutes left to play, I know Anders, he is one of the best attacking players, he is one of the best players on the sticks, but Nicholas is also one of the best defensive players on the planet. I didn't see Anders turning this game around, and maybe those substitutions playing dividends in the end.
In most circumstances, worst case, you would think Nicholas is walking away with a draw. There's still time left. Nicholas is also adjusted. You see that constant press that's coming on, or the instant team press. But I think you have to give a lot of credit to Anders.
There's one result I want to get your opinions on, Mike LaBelle. Paolo Neto, I know it's early days, but hasn't conceded just another one. He is 4-0 down in his first game. I know it's only game one, though.
He's a slow starter. What can I say?
Full-time results coming in. Emre Yilmaz beat PH in 2-1. We join this one back live. 5 minutes away, Anders Vergang looking for his first 3 points in this group of death. Or has Nicholas got other ideas? Player lock. Tease there, unable to make anything from it.
Might get one more chance here. Nico in this final 2 minutes. Don't think it's going to fall for him. Anders just keeping the ball and he's going to see this game out.
Yeah, not long left in this one at all. Goes for a goal kick. Goes into a pause now for Nicholas, who is in a 4-2-4 to try and get something back in this time. Added time to come in any second. A couple of full times around the ground. It's Johnny of SC Paderborn that wins 3-1 against K1 John. Palaneto loses 4-0. Emre Yilmaz, as we know, beats PH Zin 2-1. We join this game live now. 2-2 is the scoreline. That's Damian against Manny Bashir, the two Dutch players who were teammates this year in the Eredivisie for Vitesse. They went and won that tournament, beating fellow countryman Levi de Veer in the grand final. Oh wow, what an ending to that one. Manny Bashir looks to take all 3 points.
Huge final minute right there from Manu Bashir. All Dutch affair. And it's the man who was a runner-up last week at the E-Nations Cup, taking all 3 points. So we see the closing moments here from Nicholas and Anders Vergang. No late drama this time around.
Well, Nicholas gets up quickly to maybe just walk off. I don't know if he's going to go over to Anders or is he just going to resettle himself there. But Aggie, I'm going to come over to you about that one. Anders, you're probably the only person on this couch which wasn't surprised that he took that one 2-1.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't have the best start. Nicholas played an incredible first half, but that's the thing about Anders. You can just never count him out. He just need one step over and he's clear, and it's like his Mbappe is faster than everyone else. I mean, he just reversed it around and he did it against one of the best, if not the best, to ever play it. So, I mean, yeah, great start for Anders.
Of course it's not. Aggie was joking with that one. Mbappe is as fast as it is for everybody, not just for Anders. Well, let's get on to Spence then, because he's going to chat to Emre Yilmaz, who, I guess, Spen, you could say, got his own back really over PH Zin from what happened a couple of days ago.
Yes, Emre, how much was that in your mind when you played PH Zin, the fact that obviously they beat you quite dramatically in the final a few days ago?
Yeah, of course. I knew it from the start. It's just a few days ago, I think 2 days ago, after the loss in the final. But PH Zin played a really good game. It's really tough against him always for me. But yeah, now on to the next one, Anders Vergang.
It's been a strong year for you. Obviously, last time we saw you in this competition, you reached to the top 4. Since then, you've won the E-Champions League. Is this the next one for you? Is it all about winning this one and adding it to your trophy cabinet?
Now, for me, it's just getting out of the group and then I see it, because, you know, you got PH Zin now and then the next game is Vergang. You can lose all games now. It's so hard.
Is this who's the toughest game in the group for you?
I think Nicolas, Vergang, Bachora, PH Zin also.
All of them?
All of them. I can name all of them. It's really tough.
I suppose going up against your teammate will be hard. The fact that there's 3 Dutch guys in the same group, is that a good thing or a bad thing? Because I guess it means there'll probably be one, well, definitely be at least one getting out of the group.
Normally Manu is always winning against me, so it's also for me very tough to play my teammate. I know him, he knows me, and Damien also, I know him, how he plays, he knows how I play, so it's really tough, the group. It's only good names and teammates, so
Well, you started off with a win. That's a great start. Good luck in your next few games. Emre Yilmaz, everybody. Okay, head down the stairs now. Going to talk to Mr. #Stokes, who just had a lively game with Oberon. Hello, my friend. Right, talk us through that one. So, 2-0 down. You bring it back to 2-2. And then what happened at the end? Were you pushing to get the winner?
No, not even. I think there was just 2 times in that game where I just lost full use. Like, I'd even say lost use of my hands. I gave him the freest goal at 3-2. I just passed it straight to him. And early, I was just not at the races. There was like a middle part where I was great, and I just need to try and do that for next game, you know?
Is it all about just getting started, getting the sort of used to the setup again? I mean, let's face it, you've been here before, not just at a World Cup, big events. You won the EPL this year, you won the playoffs a few years ago. You are the most experienced player in many ways at this tournament. Does that give you an advantage?
Yeah, of course. I had no nerves. I'm just disappointed with how I started the game, you know. And obviously now with that game under my belt, just got to forget about it and just go into the next game how I played like during the middle part.
Yeah, plenty more games to come. Best of luck going forward. Right. Let's get some more games underway, shall we?
You weren't being old there, were you, Spen, with the experience angle? Just talking about experience. Anyway, we'll just skim past that and continue with what Spen was just speaking about there. I mean, I'm going to come over this way about Stokes. Alex, Richard, we kind of predicted that it would be a bit of a shaky start. It was so good, wasn't it, when he levelled it up again 2-2? What happened? Like he said, he had a great middle section there he was talking about.
There's one thing we know about Stokes, and that's that he's going to give you an entertaining game. He's either going to score many goals or he's going to concede goals. And I saw that goal that he let in where he just passed it back to the opponent. Yes, very disappointing for himself there. That middle section is something you can take a bit of confidence from and say, look, if I can go out and I can play that second game like that middle section, let's just keep doing what I'm doing. Yes, try and keep the ball out the back of the net. And Stokes will grow with confidence. He scores goals, we know that.
I've got 2 things to say about #Stokes. Number 1, he's not going to draw a game out of the 10. He's either going to win or he's going to lose. That's going to be a fact. And number 2, Mikael Darian might be the best dressed coach in the building.
True, I like the second back there a lot. Mike Lavelle, I'm going to ping this one over to you. Paolo Neto, RVP legend, 4-0. What went wrong there?
It's still early doors. You don't want to peak in the group
wasn't.
stage.
Okay.
You don't want to peak here. It's fine.
Well, you kind of have to
It's
peak a little bit
fine.
higher
It's
than that.
fine. He'll get out of the group stage and everything will be
You
great.
said he was a slow starter.
Yeah, he's a slow starter.
When's he
going to
start then?
Game 3.
Okay, game 3. Aggie, let's talk about what we just saw there as well. Emre Yilmaz, great start from him. Obviously, Spencer asked him, was it playing on his mind a little bit about what happened a couple of days ago? Surely it was a little bit. It was a chance to get back out there and prove he has what it takes to now overhaul the world champion.
Yeah, definitely. But I mean, I remember we were seeing Spencer interviewing the Netherlands and also Emre after they lost that final. And Emre seemed like he was over it pretty fast. I mean, I think he's very fast. It's just adapting, just getting over to the next task. And he's one of the 2 players who beat Anders this year. So I'm really looking forward to this match between those 2.
His teammate as well, Rich, Manu Bashir, won, didn't he, in dramatic fashion, a last-minute goal there. How does Renzo coach both of them in this instant? Does he? Is he allowed to?
I mean, I don't think you do. You've been in a position before where you've been coaching. If you've got 2 players from the same team, same org, you just...
Same group.
Yes, you just step back and go, you settle it on the pitch, you 2.
They had breakfast together earlier. He was having breakfast with Manu Bashir. Do you read into he's maybe favouring Manu then in this?
Well, that's who he's coaching. Like, he's the designated coach for Manu Bashir. There's
Can he
other team
talk to Emre?
representatives there. I think you've done it before. You just go, that's my coach. Who's going to be with me for this tournament?
I don't know the name, unfortunately. I'll have to do some research to get back on you, but Emre does have his own coach for this as well. So they do have their dedicated coaches. Obviously, yes, it's a sticky situation for them in the organisation, but they're all professionals. They all know the job that needs to get done. And best of luck to the team Hullet side on that as we get back into the action. And we kick things off with Nicholas up against Damien. Damien losing there in that last kick of the game. And then to reward him for that, saying he picked up that loss here. Go and try and pick up 3 points against Nicholas 99.
Seeing some great games starting to take shape here. This is Anders Vergang against Emre Yilmaz. Yes, it's not a grand final, it's not a semi-final, it's a second round group game. Absolute fireworks here.
Yilmaz was obviously mentioning, wasn't he, who he was worried against, or who... Start that again, Rach. Emre Yilmaz Spencer was talking about who he was worried to play against, and he basically listed every single person in Group D as we'd expect.
I think they're all going to be quite good. I think they're all going to be quite hard to play against.
Thanks for stating the obvious there, Emre. Stokes, though, as well, Rich, like you said. We said it's going to be entertaining, didn't we?
Yeah, I know there's a little bit of, just a little bit of back and forth between these two as well. So I'm looking forward to seeing who comes out on top between Stokes and Johnny. Stokes 1-0 up early doors. Anders Vergang and Emre Yilmaz 15 minutes in to this matchup. We'll head on over to the man around the grounds, Brandon Smith. Anything that you want to be looking at too much?
Well, there has been a couple of goals. Here's one of them for you right now. After a 4-0 defeat, Paulo Neto feeling confident after an E-Nations win. You'll be happy to see that one, Michael Abel.
Outside the box, a little extra whippage. I'm telling you, he's just a slow starter. He's giving the group, some hopes, some dreams. Don't doubt Paulo Neto.
He wasn't the only person to score an early goal as well. Tom Stokes, as we know, leading by a 1-0 here, looking to bounce back after his first defeat. All eyes, as we said, though, will be on that big matchup between Emre Yilmaz and Anders Vergang. RVP legend, what has he had for lunch or dinner or breakfast? He's scoring goals for fun. Hasn't conceded yet, scored 5 goals currently in the tournament. We'll have to keep hyping this one up. E-Champions League rematch, where Emre Yilmaz had to go down to the loser bracket all the way through and beat Anders Vergang on his way.
It is a truly fantastic start for RVP legend, it has to be said. Just have a look across Group D. No goals so far. However, all the goals coming in Group C. And that was #Stokes. Johnny, lovely through ball, loads of space. Take your time, ball roll heel to heel into an empty goal.
And we talk about it. Love it, hate it, you fall somewhere in between. Stokes is going to give you entertaining FIFA. He's got a lot of space to work with there. 1-0. And we're just going to have goals galore. Goals galore every game that we go to.
What a great start for PHZ, has to be said.
If he doesn't start moving in that group sooner rather than later, Richard, he is going to be drowning.
You just get left behind.
It's not a group that you can't afford to start slow in it.
I think the only benefit you might have, it's really the benefit of the doubt, is you might have a lot of draws coming in that group, so the gap will be smaller potentially, but it's...
Those draws hasn't started kicking in yet.
Yeah, but still, I mean, with PHZ, you have to pick up confidence at some point, because you don't get there's no free win at any point. Like, if you're playing bad, you're going to go 0-5 today.
This will be the most unforgiving group that I think we've ever seen as well in a FIFAe World Cup.
Well, what's been happening over in this game is Paulo Neto doubled his lead. I think we could be looking at that right now. It's Pele into Ronaldinho. Thank you very much. Time green, 2-0 he leads.
Dance with it. Overlapping runs, extra pass. Dino, right place. A little bit of that extra step over, changes direction. A bit of a body feint on the back end of it, and then the finish.
Well, our main focus is Anders Vergang. Is he about to go 1 goal to the good? Big block at the back from Emre Yilmaz.
I don't know if he needed that extra ball roll. I think he already had the angle.
Corner. Played short. Back inside. Targeted three. Anders Vergang.
Talk about sending a message. The layoff from the training grounds. Short corner, direct, extra pass, first time, no reaction.
He looks a very happy man.
Did you just see that little grimace?
I did, yeah. He just letting everyone know about it. 1-0 up. That's RVP legend, 2-0 up against Oberon. He is going to be flying at the top of the group. Nicholas up against Damesheet, 0-0 at this current stage. We're approaching half-time. The other game in Group D is Manu Gashor 1, PH Zin 0.
2 players off the back of disappointing defeats as well, Nicholas and Damien. As we jump around for more highlights for you, there's a goal back in this one for K1 John. By the looks of it, mistake at the back. Thank you very much. The only
that's
free
unlucky.
agent in the tournament. It's an unlucky finish, but K1 John was desperate for a way back in the tie there. Where else should we show you now? Nicholas looks to have taken the lead. Penalty it was.
Pen. Let's give a pen.
And this is...
We're going to see an equalising goal here for Emre Yilmaz right down the other end. Let's join that penalty live right now. We've got there for Damesheet stepping up from the spot. It is Ousmane Dembele. Slots it in the top corner.
Nicholas back in front there. I didn't know what was going on for a second. There's so many goals and moments happening. There's 1-1 here. Emre Yilmaz pulled the game back all square. It's not the only game that there's been equalised in either. There are goals everywhere. Last chance of the half. Emre Yilmaz wins a corner. Will play the corner for the Champions League winner. What can he do from here? Added time of 1 minute, edge of the box. Is he onside? He was, but that shot was completely off target.
He scuffed that finish. I think he mistimed it a little bit going for the green.
Over to this game, it's Johnny from SC Paderborn, and that's a 2-2 scoreline as well.
Yeah, Stokes, if you're wanting just goals, go to the FIFA.gg and just find his own individual games. He's giving you so many goals. It's end-to-end games. We're not even at half-time yet in this matchup. All the other games currently in the break at this current moment. K1 John, Paulo Neto 2-2. Anders Vergang, Emre Yilmaz, that's 1 apiece. Manu Bashir 1-0 up against PHZ, and Nicholas took the lead against Damesheet 1-0.
Well, this one's about to go into half-time. 4 goals in the first half. Keep in mind, all these games are a best of ones. Will Johnny get enough time for one more chance? I'm not sure he will. If we can go to Oberon against RVP Legends, that game's only in half-time, and there's been 4 goals in it. RVP Legends slightly going about his business. Here's Johnny somehow with enough time to have one last attack. Referee takes into half-time. Thank you, 2-2 there. RVP Legend has scored 7 goals in his first 2 games. K1 John, Paulo Neto has given away a penalty. And you can guess what happened from this. It's a highlight because it was Thierry Henry that was over it for a split second. Then R9 stepped up to take it. K1 John equalised the game at 2-2.
Our featured matchup did have a goal right out of the second half. Anders Vergang 2-1 up against Emre Yilmaz. It was R9 slamming it past the goalkeeper. Nicholas 1-0 up against Damesheet at this current moment. We're back underway in the second half.
Yeah, Manu Bashir against PHZ. There's another goal in that game. Just started the second half. Another player to keep an eye out for. I mean, look, Manu Bashir snatched a 3-2 win against Damesheet. Oh my God. Paulo Neto, he's just given away another penalty.
I said game 3, right? Game 3 to get into motion.
Right.
Well,
up steps R9 from the spot.
It might be game
Saved
2
this time because he went the same way. He scored and he's still 2-2 there. You won't believe what happened in that Paulo Neto K1 John game. You'll know what happened here though. I teased it for you. Manu Bashir leads 2-0 against PHZ. He's on for 6 points from 6. Paulo Neto saved the penalty, went down the other end and scored.
I can't believe what I'm watching. I'm not talking about a one-game situation or a thriller. Every single matchup has so much action. There is no sit back, relax. There's nothing cagey about this. They're not holding the ball. Everyone's going for it. It's full-on presses. They got the memo that draws do nothing for you.
Matt LeBell's shaking.
I don't know what to look at. We got 9 screens on the monitor.
What we can look at is Anders Vergang up against Emre Yilmaz. This is a cracking game. Emre Yilmaz did equalise, but coming out the second half, Anders went back in front and just gave it a little bit to the crowd. Nothing there on that attack. Let's have a look at a big matchup. It's Johnny and #Stokes. Johnny, after facing adversity in this game, bounced back into it, equalised and now is leading 3-2.
We're starting to get a few front runners across the board. In Group D, Anders Vergang, 6 points from 6 if he holds on. Manu Bashir, 6 points from 6 if he's able to hold on. RVP Legend looks to be 6 points from 6, and Johnny, SC Paderborn, looks to be 6 points from 6 over in Group C.
And I know it's early, but Manu Bashir, if he catches one more win even today, 9 points, he's already starting to cause problems in the group.
I was speaking to Renzo before we got underway, and he's behind Manu Bashir, and he just said he's playing really well. Like he's gonna go through. Renzo's confident behind him. Just the way that he's playing, the way that he's attacking, he's gonna cause serious problems. Just like Emre Yilmaz causes problems. 2-2.
Clever passing. You see the light recycle, the drop in, offside trap kind of gone wrong there, and a lot of time to work with.
Well, we jump ships to Nicholas. That one fell kindly back to R9. The ball was bouncing around. I mean, we said he wasn't going to get grouped again, but as it stands for Damien, 2 games in, gents, he's going to be on 0 points.
You see this chance here coming in from Johnny. Took the corner, played it short. Frankie de Jong, great time. Rudder Travella soaring on, bypassed the goalkeeper. Done that twice in this game, has Johnny. 4-2 up with 25 minutes left to play. Oberon and RVP Legend here. RVP Legend, we sort of a bit of a dark horse for this. We know he's got quality, we know he's got serious ability, and he's starting to show it as well.
I don't think anyone expected this. The way that he's scoring goals, he's not conceding, causing all sorts of problems. He's been disrupting. Can he keep up this type of momentum?
Was an FGS4 winner as well, was RVP Legend. 4 goals he scored in his first game. Leads forward in his other match. I was seeing the highlight of that goal again on your screen. A bit of goalkeeper movement made it pretty easy for RVP Legend. He's on his way to maximum points in his first 2 games. As we jump back to this one, Anders Vergang against Emre Yilmaz. A 2-2 scoreline, 50 minutes left.
It's a big 15 minutes. I know it's early in this group, but you just feel like the winner of this game starts to make their presence known in this group.
With the way this is shaping up, it could come down to the players that are actually going to finish 5th and 6th, how much they...
Chance! Anders Vergang on his feet, getting the crowd up for it.
Wow. I was going to say, it might come down to whoever finishes 5th and 6th, how they interrupt the group with some of the point tallying and the totals.
I know this is best of 1 FIFA, but Anders Vergang, a win against Nicholas, a win against Emre Yilmaz. He is on flames at the moment.
Stokes it out of that game.
What a finish on the near
4-3
post.
and what, 17 minutes left to play?
Plenty of time for Stokes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, this is live now that we're bringing you this Group C game between Johnny and Stokes. As we jump away for a second to see what's happened
penalty.
here.
Paolo Neto has been, what, 3 penalties in that game?
He's won a penalty now. Paul Pogba's over it. Is Paolo Neto going to run away from this game? I think he might be. Pogba steps up. Paolo Neto scores 4-2. He's on his way to his first victory. The live clock on that game is 84 minutes. The recent E-Nations Cup winner looks like he's going to be on his way to a big 3 points, his first of the FIFAe World Cup. Over to this game now. Manu Bashir against PHN. PHN did get a goal back, but Manu Bashir,
oh, what save!
Is kept out from a 3-1 scoreline.
Live shots here from this matchup. 6 minutes left to play. Will there be a third goal? Will there potentially be an equaliser here for PHN? He's more than happy to keep knocking it around, but he has just lost possession and a very cynical foul, Matt.
Let's call it a professional foul. And Manu Bashir had to be counting his FIFA blessings with that easy rebound, and he puts it wide.
Last 7 minutes over this game. Has Emre Yilmaz got another reply for Anders Vergang? 3-2, the Danish Wonderkid leads as it stands. For how long, though? Big block at the back. something we don't talk about enough, Emre Yilmaz. It's only his second season competing. In that time, runner-up in an E-Nations Cup, an E-Champions League winner, 2 FIFAe World Cup outings. He got top 4 last year. You have to remember, this is in his second season of competing. It's ridiculous.
He still wants an equaliser here against Anders Vergang.
He might just get one. Bellingham waiting for the right pass. Arnhem will drop deep to the edge of the box. This could be a chance. Emre Yilmaz can't turn away. Rafa Varane, right place, right time. Anders Vergaan, this is in your hands to close out. Looks like it's going to be maximum points from his first 2 games.
Just fell very, very nicely for him in and around the box. He wasn't able to capitalise on it, and that will pretty much do us, Brandon, for that matchup.
It will indeed. Added time of 1 minute. Full time as Anders Vergang's on his feet. He's enjoying time here in Riyadh. It's maximum points from the Danish wonder kid at his first ever FIFAe World Cup final.
We're seeing final moments here. PH he left it late. 2-2. RVP Legend and Oberon. This matchup, RVP 4-2 up. Oberon did get one back, 4-3, but that's how it did finish. These are live shots here between Johnny and Stokes. Wasn't able to pull the comeback off here in the final moments, and Johnny looking pretty good so far, Rachel, it has to be said.
Yeah, absolutely. Stokes just didn't do enough again, did he? It's all or nothing, like he said. Did come back, but it wasn't enough. Massive matchups all around, though. Aggie and me were laughing at the Oberon RVP Legend game, just saying, what on earth are we witnessing from the man from Romania? We didn't expect him to be that strong, Aggie.
No, we knew he was strong, but we never saw him on this stage before, and loads of the talent gets a bit overwhelmed, but he seems ready. He seems ready for this task, and it's very remarkable the way he started out. And I gotta say, we've been blessed so far. I mean, goals galore, great goals, great plays, really nice.
I mean, Alex, you were telling me a bit of a story as well, weren't you, about RVP Legend from this season?
Yeah, RVP Legend, we know, obviously left Team Hollett and was a free agent for a little while as well. And he's come into this and he's absolutely proving a point.
I think what we're just seeing here, there was a slight technical difficulty in this matchup. They reset the game, 66 minutes on the clock. Nicholas still leading 2-0. However, we will just see this game out. In the backdrop of it, I've got to ask you, Anders, you've been bigging him up a long time. He's in this group, what we're seeing here. He's looking like the real deal, it has to be said.
Yeah, he got the best start possible, and on paper probably beat the 2 other biggest names in the group. If you look on the paper, still a lot of jobs to do, a lot of work. So nothing's really definitive in that group, but it's the start you want to get.
Well, it's great, isn't it? As it stands, that Nicholas is bouncing back there. Really tricky start for Damien, though. Still 15 minutes on the clock, actually, time for him to get back in this one. But he's in the toughest group, and if you look through it, Rich, I hate to say it, you would say it was him, the weakest link.
You would probably say that, yeah. I think a lot of people, if you were to do your predictions for this group, you've got him in 6th, and then you've got sort of a battle for 4th between a number of names. I think a lot of us would have Anders and Emre going through.
And Nicholas, you've got to say Nicholas.
Yeah, but I've spoken to a few people around this venue, and with him in one leg, he could be susceptible. He's not been great in the group standings of the E-World Cup before. I think the unknown package from Manu Bashir, how good would he play? He has been very good so far.
I would argue the takeaway from that round is potentially that late goal by PH Zin, because
keep him in it.
If Manu Bashir goes to 6 points, one more win today, you're on 9. I know I'm doing a lot of projecting and hypotheticals. It's early. But he'd almost be in a position to say he's going on. He's going onward. He wouldn't need a lot for tomorrow.
I think this is the most important day one out of any group we've had in any of the 3 majors so far. A lot of the time we say, yeah, you can turn it around on day 2. You can have a great day. On day 2, you're not coming in and picking up 12 points out of 15. I don't see anybody doing that. Every game is going to be an absolute scrap. You're going to have to battle for every single point you're going to get. So if you can end day one on 7, 6 points, I think in this group we're going to see teams going through, players going through with 10.
And this is no disrespect to any of the players, but if you're looking at Emre Yilmaz and Anders, and if they play the way that we know they can, you're almost looking at going, that's probably a game where if I get a draw, I'll be happy enough. So you're saying, right, that's 2 games where we can't get 6 points, we'll take 2 points if we can. It then means those other 3 fixtures you've got are just massive.
Well, every game in this, isn't it, is absolutely massive. As we're still in Group D, the most difficult group we have ever seen. Nicholas, a few more moments here. Looks like he's going to take these 3 vital points here, Mike.
Yeah, this one's a wrap. And if you're a fan of Damsheet, you got to be a little bit worried. No points on the board. And again, we talk about it, but this group will be ruthless and unforgiving like you've never seen before.
Exactly. Well, last couple of moments then in this game. Nicholas 99 FC will take his first 3 points of this tournament. He was saying, wasn't he, in his interview a little bit earlier, he does love 1v1 FIFA, and he's here to destroy his opponents. That is then the final whistle blown there. Nicholas gets 3 points. Damien, unfortunately, after 2 rounds of FIFA, still sits at the bottom of that group with 0 points to his name. Lots of FIFA still to be played, so no reason to worry just yet. But Sven is down then after round 2 for these groups, and you're going to speak to Damien and just see what he thinks of that first 2 fixtures there, Sven, and how he's going to get himself back in it.
Yeah, exactly. So you're 2 games there. You just finished that second game against Nicholas. There's no easy games in this group, as you know. 2 losses so far. What do you need to do to get some points?
It is. I got 0 points, but like it's mental because I conceded like in the 45 and in the 90th minute, also against Manu. So I'm playing well. Like this game, I got to go against. I don't know how to do defend it. Like it's impossible. It was just clutch, but yeah, I'm just gonna do my own thing. Like I'm playing good, but like I conceded like at the last minute, so I have to work harder for that to not concede in the last minute. But like everything to play for.
Now, the next game is big because obviously you want to get some points and you don't want to go 3 games, 3 losses. But it's also big for another reason, because you're playing a man called Anders, man everyone knows, and he may have a bone to pick with you because you were the first person ever to beat Anders on Weekend League. I believe he was on a 535 win streak, which is insane, and you made it 535 and won. How did that feel in the moment, and do you think he might be angry with you about it?
Wow, that feeling when I won, it was incredible. Like the day after, I got 20,000 followers on Insta. Like I got so much support from that. But like this year, Anders is I have much respect for him, and this year he's incredible. So it will be a good game for sure.
Well, I think if you beat him now, you'll get some more followers again because he's won both his games so far. Good luck. So that, of course, is Damien. Now we're going to make our way down to a man who started today in sensational fashion. Maybe catching some people off guard. Maybe some people weren't expecting it. But he certainly was, because he's called himself a legend, RVP legend, unless he's talking about RVP, of course. But he's making legendary moves here. 2 games, 2 wins so far for you, sir. How's it going?
It's been going pretty well. I won 4-0 and now 4-3. I nearly choked the second game because I was 4-1 up in the 70th minute, but I just got the wins. Now 3 more games.
Scoring lots of goals as well, doing it in great fashion. Interesting game coming up next. You play Johnny. He's the other person in the group that's got 2 wins. So unless it's a draw, someone's always got to go. Do you know anything about Johnny?
Yeah, I played him a couple of times. I think I have the better of him overall, but I hope to just win this game.
Have you got a points target that you're chasing for these first 5 games?
15, of course, but I'll be happy with first or second place at the end of the day.
Okay, keep up the good work. RVP legend doing very well indeed. 3rd game up next could be an important one.
Well, I think it will be an important one, won't it? For Dammy, of course, very much so. 2 losses so far next to his name. But we saw earlier, didn't we? It doesn't matter, you can turn things around. Tuga was one of those players that had 2 losses in his group, and then he got 3 wins as well to end out the day. Top of the table on 9 points. I loved RVP legend there, just saying, oh yeah, you know, I'm modest. I'm playing okay. I'm not doing too bad there. Well, he isn't. He can really go now, can't he, for some more points. He's looking for 15, we just heard. So let's see where he is at the moment. 6 points, 2 wins, and he's playing, like Spen said, Johnny, who's also got the same amount of points as our table topper. Oberon then sitting in 3rd place, tied with Palinetto after that great matchup from him we just saw. And then Stokes and K1 John, 0 points next to their names. Then Group D, where do we even start with this? Anders Bergang, 2 wins from 2 over tough competition as well. Manu Bashir, 4 next to his name. Nicholas, 3, just got a big win, didn't he? Just a few moments ago against Damian, and then Emre Yilmaz on 3, and PH Zin just got a draw in his game against Manu Bashir to give him his first point. And the first time we've seen him in action since, only 2 days ago when he became world champion for the 2nd year running, which was pretty special. I mean, let's just talk a little bit more about PH Zin. It's his first time, isn't it, in 1v1 as well. He's come here as a 2-time world champion for Brazil. Does that give him more confidence? The fact that he's a rookie here, he has to kind of go about his gameplay under the radar, but we're not allowing him to do that.
I don't look at him as a rookie at all, even in 1v1, especially not if you're considering like his E Libertadores results and kind of what put him onto the scene. He's kind of been one of the next up faces coming out of Brazil. And then, of course, we talk about the 2v2, but I think that he's been ready. He's prepared for this type of moment.
I mean, Aggie, that just says how many FIFA players there are in Brazil, that this is PH Zin's first ever World Championship 1v1.
Yeah, I mean, he's been a top player in South America for a long time now, so I think we look at him and he's also guilty in this Group D, being the group of death. I mean, he's one of the top players as well. It's just he's in the mix of the cream of the cream, kind of. So, like, yeah.
Cream of the crop, Aggie. I know you were going there.
I thought he was going to go creme de la creme.
All that even. We didn't know. We'll forgive you. Forgive you. English is his second language, of course. Also, I was going to speak to you boys about Anders a little bit more, but more so about his coach, Daniel. Obviously, he won, didn't he, about 5 days ago now, when they won the first competition. The best club in the world was RB Leipzig. He was the coach of that side. If he was to win here, we've spoken about Renzo as being one of the best coaches. Is Daniel the best coach pound for pound of FIFA esports?
There's plenty of top coaches out there. I think when we were speaking to Daniel, he was saying that when you're working with Anders, a talent that's as good as him, it's an absolute pleasure to be there. One thing that we notice with Daniel, every time he comes to every tournament, you won't see this at home, he is the coach that is always there, laptop out, analysing gameplay, speaking to the players, and that shows with the talent that he's had and how he's getting his messages across with Anders, with Umit, and those performances are coming onto the picture. There's no reason why we see Anders and Umit performing, and that is because they've got a top-class coach there as well.
Best coach, though, last year with Umit, this year with the club in RB Leipzig. Now, if Anders was to win, can we say he's the best coach?
I would still put Renzo all day in that conversation because of the amount of players that have become successful pro players. Even if he still doesn't work with them now, when we look at the Zizinhos or even the RVP Legend, which came out of that same Team Hullet pathway where Renzo is leading it, and you've got the likes of, we just had Levy. Yeah, we had Palinetto. We have Levy now. We have Manu Bashir. We have Yilmaz. I think when you look at I think he's worked with 15-plus players that are still actively some of the world's best. So it depends. What's your criteria for measuring best coach?
I feel like...
Titles I was going with, but I love your kind of response to that, Mike.
With Daniel, he's the most similar to sort of like Guardiola. Like, he's just got the best players as well. Like, but the reason he's in that position is because he's a great coach. Like, you're not putting a bad coach in with those players. And the thing that he's not telling Umit or Anders how to play FIFA. He's managing the person.
That's exactly
I think he's
football coaches
more
do
important.
as well, right?
Yeah. He's not teaching them sort of new things in FIFA. He's nurturing sort of the player, which I think probably is even more important.
Sign of a good manager, that.
What are we giving Renzo then? Because he's the discovery type of talent. Is he like an Arsene Wenger?
He's
what
the
are we
Jurgen
doing
Klopp.
here?
He's Jurgen Klopp.
Jurgen Klopp. Okay.
Yeah. And when it comes to the conversation as well of the best coach, it's something that, Aggie, back in your days, it was a little bit different with kind of the setup that you have. Now, over the last 5 years, we've started to see teams take it more seriously with coaches where they have a full-time role. You have analysts alongside it. You have people coming in to help out with gym, nutrition. I think in the next 3 to 4 years, this conversation will start to be a little bit more regular because they'll have that chance to keep proving themselves on the biggest stage.
Yeah, definitely. We'll see more and more coaches coming forward and working with the best players in the world. So it's definitely a space in the FIFA esports scene that is progressing.
Yeah, absolutely. We've seen PHZ up against Nicholas, 99 FC here, an all South American affair. The Brazilian world champion up against the Iceman, Nicholas, 99 FC. We've had a very early goal in one of our games between K1 John and Stokes. It went to the Englishman, #Stokes, in a must-win game in that group, it has to be said. Both of those players on 0 points, and somebody has to put some points on the table. Brandon Smith, what else are we looking at? No goals so far in all the other matches.
Yeah, well, we're looking at this one in Group D, aren't we? Is Spencer teed up rightly. A rematch from a few years ago. If you're a FUT Champions fan, the man that ended the 535-0 unbeaten streak. Looking to cause havoc here, Alex, but it's going to need a serious scoreline for a player that's had 0 points in his first 2 games.
Yeah, and what a time for you to come along and play Anders Verjang, saying we need points on the board, our 3rd game. I don't know whether I prefer to get him out the way in our 1st game or last, but either way for Damien, he has got a mammoth of a task on his hands to try and do what he did all that time ago. We jump over to this game. RVP legend has scored goal after goal, time and time again, in the first 2 games. He carries on that fashion in the 3rd, green time. He's on fire.
Why do you think he's so confident? First ever FIFAe World Cup Grand Final. I believe it's history-making for Romania. The only other person I can remember would be Ovi that's been that far in a FIFA World Championship. But he's so full of confidence, and he scored 10+ goals in 3 games.
I'd like to have the conversation with him and say, RVP, why are you so confident? But maybe, to an extent, we're teeing up Group C, Group D, and we're saying who's the favourites. RVP isn't a player which we had those conversations saying we expect him, we know his talent, we know how good he is, but it wasn't someone we were saying, okay, he's going to top the group, he's going to finish 2nd. But right now,
a lot of that comes down to not having the same land track record. We're just taking the metrics that we have to work with. And I just feel, and I've stressed this a lot when we've been on the couch, you guys are welcome to chime in, but I got to look at what you've done in person. We see a lot of online players not able to cross-pollinate or bring that same package in person, and that's why we see a lot of the same faces.
As we know, we had good success in one of the last FGS qualifiers. There's been a goal in the game between PHZ and Nicholas. Which way has it gone? The all South American matchup. It has gone the way of the Ajax player, PHZ, who leads Nicholas by a goal to 0.
Beautiful pick out there, extra pass, not going to miss from that type of position. Difficult for the goalkeeper movement as well. Oh,
timing.
Oh,
timing. Nicholas straight back in the tyres. Mike LaBelle was just hyping up that great goal for PHZ. Nicholas has equalised.
And I talked about it, but I'm telling you that draw that PHN got late against Manu Bashor really shifts this group, because it could have been a very different picture, and that also might affect Manu Bashor's mental as he goes into this matchup right now. It's still 0-0, but he's up against his teammate Yilmaz.
Yeah, teammates in the E-Club World Cup was Emre Yilmaz and Manu Bashor. They were just 2 games short from qualifying for the World Finals this year. This game's all square, as it currently does stand. PHZ picked up a huge point, equalising really late into the tie. Where else can we go whilst we've got a minute? Palanetto against Obrun. There's been a goal over in that game. Palanetto gave us 3 penalties in his last match. We conceded 2 of them and won 1 of them. He's up against Obrun, who's also won a game and lost a game. Obrun does lead in this one. This is live now. We are showing you this matchup. Top 4 last year for Obrun, the Italian, looking to do that back-to-back.
And as we stepped away, we actually had another goal in the PHZ Nicholas affair. Big mistake out of the back. I'm sure that we'll get a bit of a review of what happened, how it happened, who it happened for.
Well, let's leave this one. Obrun is leading Palanetto, as we know. PHZ Nicholas. There has been a goal in that game, as Mike LaBelle said. Let's see if we can see where that one has gone as we jump over back to Group D. Here it is. You mentioned about a mistake at the back. I mean, so much time.
What happened, because I had my eyes peeled, it was a missed turn, a missed touch, and that ended up in the breakaway with the center back. Beautiful spacing there. Stokes versus K1 John. K1 John with the equalizer.
Over to this one, where there's been another goal. Manu Bashir leads his teammate of Team Hullet by 1-0 against Emre Yilmaz there. Half-time, we can confirm, for a few matches, PHN does lead Nicholas 2-1. There was another bit of terrible defending from Stokes. I'm just saying what I'm seeing. I know there'll be a big fan base watching this on. Just questioning defensively, Mike. Tom Stokes just needs to get it together.
He looks a little rushed. A little rushed, some of the passing out of the back, and the same with some of the turns off the post here. I think this is live. I hope it's live. We're going in between games so quickly.
Yeah, that is live. Added time. We've played the added time. Johnny still trying to find a way through. Time green finish there, Alex. Came off the woodwork, didn't hit the back of the net.
Yeah, Johnny's going to be a bit upset to see that one not find the net. Going back to that point with Stokes and that defending, I think Van Dijk just didn't get the ability to actually trap that and get that one away. And then Henry picks up the ball. We do have to give him credit as we see Manu Bashir come through.
And if you recall that Yilmaz interview with Spencer, he said that Manu Bashir has kind of been a bogey player for him. It doesn't typically go in his favor.
It's also an interesting debate as well, because these players will play against each other on a regular basis. That one pass off the cross, goalkeeper the save. You play against the same player over and over again as your teammate because you think we're probably never going to match up against each other in a tournament. So they know every little trick that you look for. And Emre Yilmaz finding his match in Manu right now.
Well, believe it or not, the only game where there hasn't been a goal, as I just look away there for a second, Damien against Anders Vergang is still 0-0. Other than that, we've got goals galore. Obron, Paulo Neto. More going on in that game. Over to this one, as we said, K1 John. Both these players, 0 points as it stands in the group. Desperate for their first win. K1 John looking for another goal. Building up nicely. Defended well by Stokes. Chance to counter-attack.
It's been end-to-end stuff. And if you're a fan of Stokes, I think he needs something out of this K1 John game.
Well, highlights for a split second sees Paulo Neto get back into the tie. That's 1-1 over there. This is still 0-0. This is live. Damien against Anders Vergang. Remember that Damien's got 0 points as it stands. Anders Vergang 2 wins on the bounce.
And wouldn't this shake up the group a little bit if Damien's able to get something late, maybe steal a win off Vergang?
Definitely will be some celebrations. Damien edge of the box. What can we see? Bellingham, Musiala. Where is that killer pass going to come from? Anders Vergang's patient, and that patience does pay in the end. Pause coming in there from Anders Vergang. He wants to make a couple of changes. This one's still 0-0. Chance to counter-attack. Last 30 minutes driving forward. Here's R9. Anders, is there a cutback? Yes, there is. Is there a goal? No, off the woodwork. Just about hanging in the game. Here's Damien. Let's jump over here for a split second. Is it an equaliser for Johnny? Yes, it is. Times it green into the back of the net. That one is 1-1 between RVP legend and Johnny. Two players on fine form in Group C. Over to this game, Emre Yilmaz has pulled one back.
That's a clever extra pass there as well. You have that entry ball again. I keep saying this, but it stays true. You will go to goal in that circumstance. You're not making that extra pass. You're not pulling it back. You're not squaring it across.
This could be a massive win for PHN in this game, Alex. Looking at his results so far, he lost his first game, snatched a late equaliser against Manu Bashir at 2-2. We saw it with Tuga. I know it's a very different group, but how the groups can change for you going into round 4 and 5.
Yeah, they can indeed. If they jump over to this highlight, driven pass straight in to Mbappe, and Bellingham finding that finish. But you mentioned for PHN, he needs to pick up points as often as he can, playing against Nicholas as it stands, looking to walk away with 3 points, because we keep mentioning that group, you just don't know where your 3 points are going to come. So if you take that lead in those games, you have to capitalise on them and walk away looking strong.
Yep. And we keep talking about Group D because it's so difficult to predict. You can sit here and try to analyze this, that, and whatever, but you don't know how the bounce is going to go. You don't know who's going to show up, who's going to see out a game.
Paolo Neto. Oh, big save, wins a corner, goes into a pause. Let's leave this one for a split second.
It's one of the reasons why when you are taking those leads in those games, in that group, as you mentioned, Mike, you just have to be so confident in your defensive ability. We saw it earlier on today where Tuga had that rough start, but he walked away with 9 points. Tomorrow, it could be a different story than what you have in that group. So take the opportunities when they come.
This is the reality, is most groups will give you a little bit of leeway. I just don't believe in that happening at Group D. That's the separation.
As we've been saying, you cannot get left behind in day one. There might not be a day two in terms of any possible solution. K1 John, Tom Stokes, long ball over the top, needs to score this one. 1-on-1 with the keeper.
Oh,
where was the ball roll?
Where was the ball roll, Brandon? Exactly.
Didn't want it, didn't back it.
Even the ball roll heel to heel, he walks it around him all the time in the world.
Confidence?
Talking about being left behind, if Stokes does not find a way back into these games, he is going to find himself in a very difficult position come tomorrow. But yeah, 100% you're getting in on goal. Stokes, we know he puts the ball in the back of the net with ease. There, just a lot of time to think about it. The goalkeeper comes out, the heel to ball roll maybe being the option. Stokes still knocking on the door though.
Must have anticipated the goalkeeper pulling back out.
Is there an equaliser for Stokes? Milinkovic-Savic, big save, wins a corner.
Take a touch. If he takes a touch there, he's got the goal as well.
Currently on 0 points. This is round 3 of the group stages. In Group D, oh, he timed it green, but he's the side netting.
He's giving you a little bit of everything.
Such a big game. Both players desperate for their first points on the boards. K1 John looking to put this game to bed now. The only free agent in the FIFAe World Cup. Was a shock in the qualification when he pulled through in the playoffs with a massive win for him against Rowie Feldman. Let's jump over to a highlight quickly. RVP legend looks to be on 9 points from 9.
It's a fantastic crossing at the back stick. The composure to take the touchdown as well, looking to use the extra runner as bait and finding the back of the net.
This is live now. PH in leading against Nicholas as it currently stands. We can leave this one for a second. Damien against Anders Vergang. What's the latest over there? We heard it was 0-0 before. Anders Vergang has got a corner. 3 minutes left of this one. What can we see here? Played short. Anders looking for 3 wins from 3. What can he show from this corner? Went for the Trivella inside the box. This is going to be a big point on the board.
Maybe 3 points. Last attack here for Damien.
This will be massive for Damien. The man who ended Anders Vergang's weekend league record. They meet again in the group of death. 2 years on. And he's done well to stick in this game. He has created last chance of the game. Added time of 1 minute. Surely not. Damien, couple of step overs, building nicely. Is there a way past Anders Vergang? Or are we going to end as a 0-0? The first 0-0 in this evening session here at the FIFAe World Cup. We are going to end as a 0-0. Let's leave this game. 1 point share, but the first point on the board for Damien. Anders Vergang still remains unbeaten. As we jump back to this one, Paolo Neto against Obrun. It is live in the game. 80 minutes on the clock. Is Paolo Neto about to get an equaliser? Big save. And that one gets parried away. Last 7 minutes. Obrun. Trying to see this one out. Is he offside? No, he's not. Still on. Let's leave the game for a second. PHC Nicholas is in the closing stages. It looks as if Nicholas is going to find his second loss in the group stages. Lost to Anders Vergang, won his second game against Damien with a very narrow scoreline. And PHC is on to get his first win in the FIFAe World Cup. Or is there ice in the veins from the Iceman? Wins a free kick, never count him out from these sort of areas. And in time of 1 minute, what can we see from Nicholas here? Always has something up his sleeve late into the tie. That one whipped in deep. Is there a flick on from Hullet? No, there isn't. Full time there. PH in, picks up a big 3 points in Group D. Couple more games to conclude before we jump back to the couch. RVP Legend against Johnny. That one's in the closing stages there. Let's join it after we get some highlights first. Paolo Neto against Obron. Was there an equaliser for the E-Nations Cup champion? I think there was. Pogba punches it into the feet of Kevin De Bruyne, of all people. That game's at a pause as it stands right now. Oh, it was a 90th and equaliser, sorry, that was a full-time result. K1 John against Stokes. Oh, if you're a Stokes fan, look away. That one concluded with a win for K1 John. Tom Stokes, 3 games in, is on 0 points. I'll pass it back to the couch to close this one out. Emre Yilmaz against Manu Bashir, where Emre Yilmaz did get a goal back to make it 3-2. That is live shots from the game.
We kind of expected it to be a little bit like this, didn't we, guys? This was the one game that we heard Spencer talking about. Manu Bashir has confidence when he goes up against Emre Yilmaz's teammate.
It certainly does. And I think what you're seeing here is 2 players who know each other inside and out, teammates throughout the majority of the season, whether it's a Club World Cup or looking at many different tournaments, practice sessions, and sort of even warm up to this tournament. Michael, when you've come into a tournament before, you're playing against someone in a group or in a knockout game that you've scrimmed with, you've practiced with, maybe even a good friend of yours. How do you even prepare for that?
It's nearly impossible. I had several experiences like that together with Ivan, Boros legend, and it was always painful to play him because he knew every step that I was going to make. We knew each other so well, so it was almost impossible to surprise him with anything, and it just became even more like a game of chess.
Game of chess indeed. And we're seeing that right now with Emre Yilmaz and Manu Bashir. 3-2 to Manu as it stands, as we close up the remaining 10 minutes, which would be a ginormous 3 points for Manu if he can hold on. But Emre is going to apply that pressure, look to be aggressive, and it's all about Manu. Have you got the nerve to keep your teammate away from your goal?
Well, he doesn't have to hold that nerve, does he, for much longer. About 6 minutes left on the clock for Manu Bashir to get this massive point over his teammate, his friend, his countryman. Yilmaz at the moment needs it a little bit more. It's very tight in Group D, as we all have been talking up and about and as expected, but let's see, it could really change the order of things in that group. Exciting match for this one, people who are watching this one.
You said this group starts to take shape. It's taking the shape of a circle because everyone's just going round and round and round, and points are being shared out. No one's really, other than Anders Vergang, starting to pull away as such. But I really do think that it's going to come down, in my honest opinion, 4th and 5th will be goal difference tiebreaker, as Emre Yilmaz in the 90th minute, just as I'm saying, we go round and round and it's a circle, gets an equalising goal. 3-3, have a point apiece, fellas.
I hate to say it, but it's kind of the fairest way I see this game playing out. As a neutral, I'm like, oh gosh, teammates, I love to see them both get a point there. Mike's going to disagree, and I love it when he does.
I think Manu Bashir should have seen this one out. He had the chances. I almost wonder if he was a little bit too nice there on some of the closeout. I think he had some opportunities to walk the end line a little bit better, or walk the sidelines, draw some potentially throw-ins, which of course gives you a bit of a reset in the FIFA scene, maybe clear it deep. I just don't love it. He had the lead there, and that happened back-to-back. If you recall beforehand, he was ahead against PH Zin. These are those types of moments that cost you in this group in particular. These are the margins that we talk about at the highest degree, at the highest level.
after 3 rounds, there is one player who has won 3 matches. ... No, it is not Anders Bergan. It is actually coming from Group C, and it is RVP legend. It looked like he was going to get pegged back a little bit in that matchup by Johnny. He was kind of quite resurgent in the opening stages. 3-1 it did end, but Johnny almost kind of got in it, didn't he, in the early moments of that matchup, guys?
Yeah, he did. RVP just proving out to be too much. One thing I'm noticing from Johnny, he is absolutely loving that outside of the boot Travella. He's constantly going for it time and time again. RVP, though, sat on 9 points. He would have snatched your hand at the start of this day if you said after your first 3 games, you want 9 points. Of course, he's going to take it. He has 2 games remaining. 15 points is what he is aiming for. We'll have to see if he gets it, Rachel.
Also, the fact that he's got, you know, like Brandon was just saying, the player that we didn't expect to be here, the only player without an org next up. That's K1 John, possibly. 3 points going there. And then his 5th fixture is Stokes. Could he be the only player we see win 5 out of 5 on day 1 here?
Could be a clean sweep.
Could be, couldn't it? Looks likely.
He's got favourable matchups, no disrespect to the players that he's playing against, but they are struggling at this current moment, as you can see from earlier on today. That's how quickly it can turn around as well. Tuga started 0-2. Stokes probably has to look at that and take Solomon the fact that he's 0-3 now, but you finish today on 6 points, you're probably looking at a 3rd or 4th placement, and you're still in the hunt for it. Tex in Group B was outstanding, it's got to be said.
Yeah, that was earlier, of course, what we got to see in Group A and B, but tonight is very much about C and D. They're the focus matchups, but we'll bring you up to speed on those in a couple of moments' time. Let's go straight down to Spen. Spen, who are you chatting to first up?
Thanks, Rachel. Yeah, I'm here with Manu Bashaw. I think it's fair to say you're frustrated with that last match.
Well, not only the last match, the second match as well against PHC, I conceded the equalizer in the, I think, 89 minutes again. So it should be 9 points now, and now I'm 5. So yeah, you never know what's going to happen tomorrow and stuff. So you want to get done quick. Should be on 9, but
on the bright side, you're still unbeaten. But what could you do to stop conceding those goals late in games?
Of course, my opponents like PHC and Emre are known for their attacking quality, so it's hard to stay without conceding. But I think I made some mistakes in playing out the game because I make the wrong passes in the last minute. I think if I make a few more right choices, that I'll be on 9 points, and I'm playing so well. So it's a shame because tomorrow you don't know if you're playing that well again, and in this group especially, you want to get it done ASAP.
How was that game? Particularly playing against your teammate Emre Yilmaz, someone you know so well. Is it one of those where you feel like, because you've played together as well, haven't you, as a 2v2, they kind of know your next move and you know what he's going to do because you're so familiar with each other's styles?
Yeah, we both know each other's weaknesses, so you try to play a bit on that. But of course, when you play against a player like Emre, his weaknesses are so small that you have to make the most out of it when you get it. And yeah, I think he played well in the end. He stayed calm, he made the equalizer, and yeah, I think could have gone either way.
I think you've got to stay positive. There's only a handful of players that haven't been beaten. You're one of them, so keep it up, and I'm sure we'll see you continue to progress. I'm going to head up the stairs now because I want to talk to a man we saw in quite sensational fashion win E-Nations 48 hours ago with Brazil. Paulo Neto is, of course, the man I'm talking about, representing Atlanta United here at the E-World Cup. He's had one of each so far, Paulo. You've had a loss, you've had a win, you've had a draw. What are you going to get in the next 2 games?
Yeah, last game was very tense. I got the draw in 90 minutes, but yeah, I'm confident for the next few games. I mean, I started slow, but now I'm thinking I'm finding my gameplay. And yeah, let's see what happens.
How have you found adjusting from 2v2, obviously the elation of winning with Brazil 48 hours ago, getting back into a more individual mindset?
Yeah, it changes a lot, the game from 2v2 to 1v1. So yesterday I spent the day practicing a lot and getting back used to the 1v1. And yeah, now I think I'm finding my form.
Okay, best of luck, keep it up. You got a draw in his last game, won the game before that, so unbeaten in 2. Obviously 2 games left still to come here, guys, and it's getting a little bit closer to where these games start to really mean something in terms of whether you're going to get out the group or not.
Yeah, absolutely, and Paulo Neto was being spoken about a little bit by Mike earlier on, and Mike said it was going to take him until match 3 to find his form. He actually found it in match 2, didn't he, Mike? He kind of got the win there, and then he just had that draw against Oberon as well to find his pacer, and he just said he feels like he's going to get better.
That's what I was going to build on. He sort of found his form.
But he came out with a win in the round.
He's moving in the right direction, but this is not prime time, premium quality world champion Paulo Neto, and that's fine. I don't want him to use that right now.
But that is just making that switch, like Spencer was trying to say. He's just been probably the most ecstatic point in his career, winning a world championship with his country and having to come back down to earth, go back here and practice on his own and forget about what happened only 48 hours ago and go again and try and get himself up for a world championship. It's tough, right, Aggie?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you have to adapt fast. It's how it is when you qualify for more than one. You have to be ready. And I feel like he got off to a decent start. I mean, 4 points after 3 games, you're definitely not sad. You're not satisfied either, but that's where the last 2 games of the day comes in, I guess.
Well, let's continue then chatting about Group C, because Spen is down there on the floor with Johnny.
Yes, I am here with Johnny. This is a great player from paddleboard, someone I really look up to in more ways than one. I'll show you why. Johnny, can you stand up, please? This is outrageous, guys. Look at this. Serious work on the arms to talk to this man. Johnny, 2 wins, a loss in the last game. How are you feeling?
Yes, I'm feeling good. I'm very confident for the next games, and yeah, MVP is for me one of the best players here, and yes, it's okay that I lose in this game.
Did you have an aim for today coming in terms of how many points you wanted to leave with?
No, I look from game to game, and yes, 10 points went very good.
And of the next 2 games, like how many points would you like to target in those? You've got 6. You know, if you do 6 points again tomorrow, that's probably enough to progress. Every extra point you get now is a bonus.
Yes, I would like to more 6. Then I have 12 points, and yes, what Ogun is one of the best players. Yes, we're looking for the game, and then we against Paulo Neto and look for this game.
Yeah, good luck in those games. Keep it up, and stay sitting down because you make me feel very inadequate. Listen. He had 2 wins from 2 going into that game against, obviously, RVP Legend. They're the 2 guys that had maximum points. He's lost that one, but it looks like everyone's losing to RVP Legend at the moment. So still going very well. We'll keep an eye on him.
Spen, I'm glad you did the interview, because I'd have looked like an absolute midget stood next to him, wouldn't I? 5-3 over here, I'm pretty sure. Anyway, let's chat then about these groups, Group C and Group D, which are currently underway at the moment. 2 more rounds for both of them. RVP, like I just mentioned, the only player so far who's got 3 wins out of 3 matches, 9 points. Johnny, Spencer just spoke to him, 6 points after 2 great results for him. Oberon then, they play each other next. Johnny and Oberon go head-to-head. Paulo Neto, so far so good for the player representing Brazil, obviously an MLS champion on multiple occasions. He's had all 3 results, a win, a draw and a loss. K1 John on 3, and Stokes still yet to find a point. We wish him all the best in the next 2 matches. Group D then, Anders Vergam hasn't lost a match. 7 points, couldn't get the final win. Manny Bashaw 5, Yilmaz and PH Zin 4, Nicholas on 3 and Damian on 1. Well, they're the scores on the door, so you can see though Alex is standing by to give us some awesome FIFA analysis. So what are you starting with, Alex?
Well, just before we jump into round 4, we're going to bring you some moments from round 1, 2 and 3 from all of the players that are currently unbeaten. We're going to start off with Anders Vergang in that first game that we saw up against Nicholas. It's all about the footwork, the fancy feet out in this area, and just keep a close eye on Van Dijk here. He comes out to try and deal with Ronaldinho, the turn, and then Pele into this area. Does an exceptional job to just evade that challenge with a left stick dribbling. Anders opens up the space to then find that pass into R9, who is just kept onside by Van Dijk from that aggression earlier on. And then Anders is never going to miss from there. Moving over to RVP, who has won 3 games out of 3. This actually comes from a mistake from Oberon, looking to play out from the back. De Jong is there to intercept. Now, we saw it immediately. If you look into that bottom left of your screen, you can see the offside traps coming through time and time again from Oberon. As Pele looks to transition and move the ball forward, it is now going to be 1 more offside trap. Again, it comes through, you see the offside trap, and that is where the mistake comes. RVP is direct. He looks to get the ball into his attackers with those driven passes using R1 and X. He just beats that offside trap. The green time finish, the confidence is there. And then this game was a stormer. It was Emre Yilmaz up against Manu Bachor, and it was all squared 3-3. The time and patience, De Bruyne takes that turn, And we're just going to pause this as we make a big decision. Emre Yilmaz says, I am going to step up and get into this lane. He wants to try and stop the pass that's coming from De Bruyne into Mbappe. Moving into that passing lane, it's aggressive, it can work out, but it also means if you step too high, if De Bruyne gets that driven pass through, you can be wrong. The little tight dribbling and then that low-driven green time finish from Bellingham, just using that to a T on that angle, which is very difficult to do, but it's one of the reasons why these players are here. Let's go ahead, let's jump into though the next game, Rachel.
Thanks, Alex. Yeah, and I'm sure Manny Rashid would have loved you to stop right there as well when he was 3-1 up. We know he got pegged back in the end, didn't we, by his teammate, but it's fast approaching, isn't it, the round of 4 here for Group C and D, and the next one we have is absolutely massive. It's Anders. He, of course, was a world champion, wasn't he, from the E-Club World Cup a few days ago, and then he's going up against PH Zin, who was the world champion from the E-Nations only 48 hours ago. Guys, Rich, this is a massive, massive matchup. Again, we know how well they are, how have been playing 2v2. Now we get to see them individually up against each other.
Well, also, I think PH Zin just come off the back of a big win as well, which is really sort of promising for him. Anders, you would expect to win this game, simply just given the performances that we've seen so far. I think he's been a bit more consistent than PH Zin. It's a really, really tough game to call for PH Zin. Like, how do you play this? It could come down to, if you get a point in this game, it could be huge for you, but you're never going out to play for a draw, very rarely. So if I was to tell you where I think it's going to go, I think Anders wins by 2 goals.
Aggie, I'm sure you'll like to echo what Richard's just said there, thinking Anders is going to win this big match.
It's a big one for sure. I mean, Anders just played that draw against Damien, where Anders had a lot of chances, but Damien did some very nice goalkeeper movement and maybe has some frustrations there. And I feel like it's an open game. Like every match breeds differently, so I'm not too sure that he just goes on and win it.
Just picking up a point, actually, Mike, that Aggie just said, talking a bit more about the Damien matchup against Anders. We didn't really highlight that as much as we possibly should have done, that he actually kept Anders to a stalemate there.
I thought Damien looked good as well. I was watching a lot of that game closely. He had opportunities, he defended well, a lot of the skill moves, the execution, the speed of the game, the tempo control, being able to stay in pace with Anders. That's where a lot of people get lost. You just can't play at the speed that he could play at, and I thought Damien did a great job of being able to adapt, pivot, and also upgrade his game.
Well, he said, didn't he? He just kind of kept faltering at the final moments of half-time and full-time. How does he change that? Can you do that quickly now?
If you're Damien, all you need now is a couple wins, or at least a win. Get yourself on the board, get you some points building, and to a certain degree, this group might be decided off who can either take points off the leaders, or whoever ends up kind of at the bottom, who do they actually disrupt or start causing issues for when the time is running out, I guess. It depends how many games are left and so forth. Don't even get me started with the permutations.
Well, round 4 is underway. Vergang, PH Zin is our featured matchup. Let's enjoy this one.
Well, it's going to be Anders Vergang, PH Zin. Just such a tightly contested game. I do think Anders comes into this as a favourite. However, PH Zin has shown unbelievable quality in the last couple of events, whether it be the Club World Cup with Ajax or the crowning moment of his time in Riyadh thus far, the Brazil victory at the FIFA E-Nations Cup.
Well, there's been goals in some of the other matches already over here. Nicholas against Manu Bashir. Nicholas took the lead after just 5 minutes there. He's looking for a few more points on the board. You heard a few people speak about PH Zin after that E-Nations Cup victory, Richard, and some do believe he is currently one of the best players in the world. I mean, look, this is the ultimate show to go and show that across these next 4 days.
There's another goal with a Brazilian in action who was part of that FIFA E-Nations Cup. And I can tell you Stokes did open the scoring up against Paulo Neto. He's leading 1-0. We'll keep you up to date with that game as and when it starts to unfold. Chance here for Anders on the Trivella. Good save from the keeper.
Corner. for Anders Vergang. Mbappe will look to cause more havoc in the final third. Henry just offside. Let's go elsewhere while we've got a minute. Where do we want to go? Games are taking place everywhere. You've got Damien against Emre Yilmaz. It's an all-Dutch matchup. K1 John, RVP legend. Johnny against Obram. Let's jump over here where... Have we just joined as the goal's gone in? I think we may have. Damien against Emre Yilmaz. It's gone the way of Emre Yilmaz. Damien has got a point on the board against Anders Vergang, but he will not want to end day one with only just a point.
Looked to be a mistake at the back. Emre capitalised on it, and everything's green with Emre Yilmaz.
That dribbling there from Emre Yilmaz to take on the defender as well, and the green time finish was excellent. A little roulette coming through as well from Johnny.
He loves a Trivella.
He loves a Trivella. He loves the green time. He's confident. He said he knows how good Auburn is, but he thinks he has the upper hand, and so far looking that way.
Big goal. Anders Vergang does lead against PH Zin. One thing is to recall on, by the way, this is sort of like a first for Anders Vergang. Never normally has a coach. Now we spoke about RB Leipzig, Daniel, with the success that he's had this season with pretty much every player that he's been able to coach through. We joined that one again. Another player that we have to start taking really seriously is Johnny as well. You've got to think, who did he beat to qualify for this tournament? Well, I'll tell you who it was. It was Levi Finn, another great German player this year. Had a decent run in the virtual Bundesliga, knocked out Umit.
The biggest compliment you can pay Johnny is in the playoffs, in the play-ins, out of 64 players, he was 4 out of 64. Like, an incredible achievement. Himself, Oli Bolli, Nisa, and Di Fernandez going through the play-ins. It was such a competitive tournament, and he was there.
And a great example, Richard, as we keep saying, he just got better and better and better from virtual Bundesliga, knocking out, as we said, the world champion of it, to those play-ins, getting the 4 spots from 64, as you're right to say, into the playoffs, full of confidence. Have to keep a serious eye on him. Where have we got goals going in around the other games here? Round 4, Nicholas against Manu Bashir. It looks to be an equaliser. And there is an equaliser, Manu Bashir, all square there. That game's just approaching the 30th minute here. Tom Stokes, Paolo Neto. Tom Stokes, desperate for any points on the board in Group C. He might be on for his first big win.
Tom Stokes doing what Tom Stokes does best, which is press heavily up that pitch, capitalise on any mistakes that the opponent may have. And Paolo Neto, dawdling on the ball too long. Stokes pounces, drives that ball into R9's feet and says, thank you very much. Puts himself into the first time today a commanding position to try and get 3 points on the board.
He has to pick up points from somewhere. Like, he's faced the people around him. Now he's coming into those matches where the front runners, Paolo Neto, RVP legend, he's got to try and pick up points. A man who is dominating. People say it's a group of death. It's a group of Vergang at the moment.
You can't emphasise how much he makes it look so easy every time. As we jump over to this game, Damien versus Emre Yilmaz, the little layback off across, deciding to go for that near post, putting himself 2 to the good, going back to Anders Vergang. He makes everything look so effortless. Ball roll straight into the green time finish, easy as you like, and that is why he is one of the favourites for this tournament.
And do you think for someone like Anders Vergang, it's just repetitions? So many repetitions, so many reps at this level. It doesn't matter where he is, Alex. It could be FUT champions at home or an E-World Cup. He just knows the areas to shoot from and the timings of those in-game animations.
One of the biggest things that people really need to hone in on is that when we're sat there and we're showing you this is how X player does this and Y player does that, for them, they're not having to think about that on the pitch. It is just intuitive. They go exactly with what they feel in the moment. And where does that come from? From playing thousands and thousands of games.
Let's have a look at what else is happening around the grounds. Nicholas and Manu Bashir. Manu Bashir leading 2-1. I said it earlier on the couch, as I'm choking because Nicholas could not be making it through. He doesn't really suit groups, I'll be honest.
Best of one FIFA as well, Rich, does not suit him. That could be 3 points from a possible 12. Saying that, there's been another goal in that game. Nicholas against Manu Bashir. Half-time here, Anders Vergang is still in control. 2 goals still against PSG. Let's leave this one at the halfway point and go somewhere else.
Could be one more chance.
Oh, R9.
Yeah, that's why you always wait until the end of the half.
Thankfully, we did wait. Thank you, production. Thank you very much. 3 goals to 0. Anders Vergang does lead. He is looking scary. Well, we're called to go somewhere else. We said about Nicholas maybe having a difficult day one. He's back in the tie now. That's at 2-2 in at half-time.
I just want to say that with that Anders Vergang goal that we just saw, he waited for the goalkeeper movement. The goalkeeper moved across. He waited for the goalkeeper to come back and then went back across goal. Just different levels.
He's just playing right now to a completely different... It was almost like he's playing a different version of FIFA compared to everyone else. Like he's quicker, he's more clinical, and he's making the best players in the world look ordinary. 3-0 up against PSG. Emre Yilmaz leading 2 goals to 0. He's chasing Anders at the top of that table against Damien here. A chance here for Damien with 55 minutes on the clock. He needs to get one. He needs to get one soon. If he's got any hope of turning this result around, could be the chance he was waiting for. Good defending from Emre Yilmaz.
I mean, so scary as well. It's his first ever FIFAe World Cup Grand Final for Anders Vergang. It looks like he's going to be already into the knockout stages, confident off the back of that E-Club victory. What's happening in this game? Tom Stokes, you wouldn't believe that he's lost his first 3 games with this performance here. 3 goals he leads against Paulo Neto in the 50th minute.
Really good composure there from Stokes. Just biding his time, waiting for that cutback off across, looking for the driven pass, giving the defender and goalkeeper no chance whatsoever with the easiest tap-in you'll ever see.
And just speaking about Stokes there, it's a nice matchup for the simple fact that you know Paulo Neto's going to attack.
Yeah.
You know he's going to play quite offensive FIFA. It's not going to be sort of a 5-back through ball or a 5-back holding possession and waiting. Paulo's going to come at you, and he's going to come at you with all that he's got. And it does open up space in behind. Emre Yilmaz still dominant in that matchup. Let's have a look at an opening goal between K1 John and RVP legend.
This result just doesn't do much for Tom Stokes if he's out there trying to put the result in, because K1 John's going to be on 6.
Also, it doesn't make sense. That result shouldn't be happening. RVP legend should be winning that to go 12 from 12.
I'm upset if I'm RVP legend there, seeing that goal go in. Defender jumped. Do you think it's going to be an easy clearance to get that one gone? Hakimi just completely mistimed it, misheaded it. But if you are K1 John, you do not mind. You will take that. He has done what no one else has done so far in this tournament, which is put a goal past RVP legend and put yourself into the lead.
This game is even bigger. Manu Bashir currently on 5 points. Nicholas on 3 before a ball's been kicked in this game. Nicholas wins, he goes to 6. Manu Bashir stays on 5. It certainly shakes up the group. What have we got here? Johnny against Obron. Is there a goal back for the Italian? Oh, there is. Paul Pogba.
Some strike.
This game is live. That's 70 minutes in. K1 Johnny's still leading RVP legend by 1-0. He could be on for a second goal here. Just seeing what that win has done for him against Tom Stokes.
If there's one thing that the groups have shown us so far, it's leaving the first day on anything less than 3, unless you're Hollywood, is a bit of a tough ask. As K1 John doubles his lead against RVP legend, the man who has been flawless so far,
no one's safe.
He's now losing 2-0 against K1 John.
How has that gone in, by the way? It trickled into the back of the net. Emre Yilmaz 3-0. Stokes against Paulo Neto. Has Paulo Neto got a goal back? It looks like he's dancing. He's moving, he's grooving. But is it too late in the match out there? That one's in the second half. Let's stay on this one for a little bit of time. Nicholas against Manu Bashir. This is in Group D, the group of death.
you're speaking about Nicholas and his points tally. 3 points coming into this game, Manu on 5. A win makes the group look a lot more rosy, it has to be said. A draw doesn't really help either player. Manu Bashar takes it probably a lot happier than Nicholas. But also a loss for Nicholas is really detrimental in his quest to get out of this group of death. Green time to finish there from PH Zin. That's 3-1 currently. We'll keep up to it. If PH Zin scores again, we'll go back to it. But right now, this is the game in Group D that all eyes are on.
Manu Bashar looking to make it 8 points if he was to win. As it stands, he'll be on 6. Nicholas will be on 4. Nicholas. Alfonso Davies, always so reliable. Play a lot. Nicholas, big goal. Big, big, big goal in Group D.
That is absolutely filthy from Nicholas. As we see Paolo Neto come back down that other end. The bounce falls, fortunately for him, pulls it back to 3-2. Stokes with a lot of work to try and see out that game and get the 3 points, as we see Emre, Yilmaz and Damien. 3-1, possibly comebacks galore across the groups, Richard.
18 minutes left in that Stokes game, Richard. There is time for Paolo Neto.
We know exactly what he's going to do as well. He's going to fly forward, he's going to press, he's going to make Stokes' life difficult. The other matches in that group, K1 John still leading 2-0, and Johnny with 15 minutes left is leading 2-1 against Oberon. Could be a chance in behind here for PH Zin.
Is he on for another one?
No.
Defended well by Anders just about. Keep in mind, we've got one more round of group play after this, and then we do it all again tomorrow here from the FIFAe World Cup. Top 4 will get you through the group. PH Zin.
Second goal makes it very interesting.
There's the box. Finding a way through still. PH Zin. No, it's gone in somehow. The goalkeeper's moved, but the goalie's pushed it into his goal. And look at Anders Vergang. He's not happy about it at all.
He is absolutely livid, is Anders Vergang. He moved the keeper. It bounced off the keeper, and I tell you what, we'll be keeping a very close eye on that game. 10 minutes to go here between Stokes and Paolo Neto. Stokes looking to get a fourth and solidify his first 3 points of the tournament. Floated to the back post, gives the ball away and gives Paolo a chance to come forward here. What's Paolo Neto got in the locker?
Well, as it stands, Paolo Neto's on 4 points. Tom Stokes, as we know, gets a free kick. Wins a free kick here. 6 minutes left in the tie. Paolo Neto. Always so dangerous in these areas. Milinkovic-Savic will wait as his Atlanta United Church just queue up on the edge of the box.
He's waiting.
And just to add for Stokes on this game means absolutely everything, because we have seen K1 John pick up a massive victory against RVP legend. 2-1, that game is finished. As we see that goal just come back in. Came from a penalty, a big challenge, but unfortunately for RVP legend, it was a little too late. And it was Neymar that hands it over to R9 and says, you take that one. But it just means how much more it is important for Stokes. As we jump over to this game now, Nicholas and Manu.
Big goal, Manu Bashar. He's equalised there if we can. Anders Vergang, PH Zin after the full time here. Tom Stokes, big 3 points on the boards. Mikhail Darin's got his glasses on. Not sure why. It's not going to plan just yet.
Full suit, glasses on, 3 points on the board. Stokes. He's off and running at the FIFAe World Cup. 12 minutes left to go here. Anders Vergang and PH Zin as Nicholas and Manu Bashar is 3-3. Both games, 7 minutes left to play in this matchup.
You've also got Johnny about 1 minute away from a win against Oberon. The newcomer of the year, you could argue, from Germany. No Dolomite, no Levi Finn, no woman here. This time round, he is waving the flag for Germany. As PH got an equaliser. against Anders Bergen, or is Anders Bergen going to continue to stay top of the pile?
Big chance for PH. He's turned possession over.
There's just been a massive goal as well, one brought against Johnny. We won't go to it yet. Let's stay with this one. First, we're jumping.
It's full time.
We're jumping here. There was a late goal in the game. Mistake from Johnny. Obrun got a goal back. That's a massive point on the board for the Italian player from Exceeds. Let's leave this one. Jump back across. It was Petr Cech that scored the goal. Nicholas against Ballybashore. That's in the last closing stages here at 3-3. And there has been a goal in Anders against PH. Full-time whistle, we're waiting for it. Full-time there, point shared apiece. Nicholas against Ballybashore. Where did the goal come from? Anders Vergang against PH. It came the way of the Danish wonderkids. And he gave us a little celebration as well. Ball roll into that time green finish from Ronaldinho. There was pressure on his shoulders, but pressure makes diamonds if you're an Anders Vergang fan. Big 3 points on the boards. He's going to be buzzing with that, Richard.
Yeah, he'll be over the moon. Will Anders Vergang. 4-2 victory for Anders. What's that, 10 points from 12 for Anders. He is making this look pretty comfortable, it has to be said, at the E-World Cup.
He got a bit frustrated, didn't he, when PH Zin just got that goal. It kind of had a kerfuffle around the box there, Mike.
Don't start that. Don't start the kerfuffles.
But the goalkeeper just kind of gifted him that one. Mark, get it there. Mike loves our little English kind of sayings. He doesn't always get what we're talking about, so I love to just throw them at you from time to time.
I give you a bar cackle.
Is that a word?
I don't think so.
By the apple falling from the cart?
I think you've made up some words over here.
No.
There's some group chat words that I'm like, I don't think that's a word. There's no Google that pulls it up.
Anyway, back to Anders then, obviously doing the business over PH Zin. We said that was a massive match, as was Spen K1 John getting his first victory over RVP Legend. That was massive.
Yes, indeed, the first person to beat RVP Legend. How was that game for you?
To be honest, like the first 2 games, I started in a really bad way, but I returned back with the 2 games. It gave me 6 points. To be honest, I didn't expect that I'm going to lose the first 2 games, but it is what it is. It's the World Cup. Everything could happen. Yeah, but I'm really happy with this win because it's going to help me for the group stage to make it to the knockouts.
For sure, and you're the only player here that's currently without a team. You're a free agent. Is part of your plan not just to win the World Cup, but also to advertise yourself to the world?
Of course, but I'm not aiming for now. Like, it's not really important now to focus about being signed or no. Like, I'm going to do whatever I can do, and I know in the future I will sign with a good team. And now I'm trying to focus to represent my region and my country in a good way, and let's see what will happen tomorrow.
Yeah, I think you're doing Egypt very proud there with 2 wins in a row. Have you got a points total you'd like to try and achieve in the groups?
I'm like, the aim is to win the group, to win every single game. The aim was not to lose one single game or even to tie it, but you know, it is what it is. The vibes are really like, it's like you'll be nervous in the beginning, but it is what it is. I have to adapt because this is a World Cup, like this is the cup of the big players. So yeah, that's it.
Keep it up, mate, doing really well. After 2 games, didn't look like it was going to be his tournament, but he's turned it around with 2 wins in a row, looking very good indeed, including beating RVP Legend, which no one else has done yet. He plays Stokes next game. Now, I definitely want to talk to this man, Anders, who's seemed to be really enjoying that last match, Anders.
Don't know what I should say. I think I should lead with 5 goals. Then he scored the first, like, through ball I knew he was going to do, but like when you send the player, he's faster, so I can't do anything. Then the second, I defended perfect. Then I move because I know like he will only shoot in this corner. I think it's time yellow, it's in, then it's 3-2. And I can choke the match, but I was just relieved I closed the match 4-2.
Yeah, you came out on top. And listen, the good news is you're the only person that hasn't lost a game in the entire session of C and D groups. The only other person that hasn't lost a game all day is Tex. Does that put you right at the top as the one to beat?
Like, what do you mean?
Is that going to make you even more the man who everyone wants to beat because you haven't lost a game yet?
I think it's been like that always. People want to beat the best, and I'll just keep going and try to secure the first place.
Okay, keep it up. Anders certainly enjoying life sometimes. Doing very well, unbeaten so far. Will he keep it up, or will he win or draw this next game?
I'm not sure he did enjoy that, really, did he, Sven? He seemed to be a
Some
little
of
bit
it.
stressed out after that matchup, and I wouldn't want to be Manny Bashor. He goes up against a very disgruntled Anders Vergang after winning 4-2 over PH Zinn. I mean, Mike, how did you read that?
If you didn't know the result of that game, you would have for sure thought he got a bad bounce and lost that game, or was very unhappy with the result. He won, and not even by a little bit. He had a couple helpers there. He had some extra cushion to work with. He's just that frustrated that he feel like he didn't convert his opportunities.
He hated as well that PH Zinn's second goal, didn't he? Absolutely with a passion.
Yeah, you could see it. And the thing is, you don't want to play against. Usually, the normal FIFA players are playing worse when they're angry. Like, you're not focused, you're not in the zone. But Anders, when he gets angry, he's just playing better.
He's terrified. He's like, Spencer, why are you here? Get out of my pod.
Yeah.
Can you see I'm going through something right now?
He wasn't focused on the question either. He completely was off track with, what do you even mean?
He's like, go somewhere, Spencer. Get out of here.
Literally. That says a lot about his character, doesn't it? And his passion and his personality.
But he also plays so much FIFA that he knows when it's a silly goal. Like, he mechanically did the right thing. The goalkeeper's pushed it in his own net. I think you talk about character, to then not capitulate, to not concede another goal, but to then go, you know what, I'm going to score again, and I'm going to make sure that even if the game doesn't want me to win, I'm winning.
I think what scares me the most, if I was a competitor here, you know he's coming out with confidence all the time anyway, but the way he can be annoyed with a situation and still play exceptionally well, and he's just like, okay, I've just won 4-2, but I'm really not happy. I want to make sure I do better in the next game. That just strikes fear into every single player.
I actually said, do you think it'll work against Manny Bashor? If I was Manny Bashor, I'd go, ooh, Anders is really riled. Let's try and get in his head a little bit more.
No, it's the opposite. It's weird. But most people, when they get angry, emotional, passionate,
That's what the boy said.
It doesn't get better. What August said is the truth. Now he's angry, he's frustrated. Good luck, Manu Bashor. Sorry.
Well, that is the final fixture, isn't it, for Anders Vergang? But let's just remind you guys at home of the standings with one more round to go this evening. So, RVP Legends, he unfortunately just got just suffered a defeat, didn't he, in that last round of fixtures there to K1 John. Johnny then on 7 points. K1 John, I just mentioned him. Spencer just spoke to him. 6 points. He's pretty happy with that. The chap from Egypt, the guy that has not got an esports organisation attached to him. Oberon then sits in 4th with 5 points. You just saw him grab a last-minute goal in his match. And then Paolo Neto on 4, and Stokes, big win, wasn't it, from the Englishman in his last fixture there to get his first 3 points of the round. Then Group D, well, we speak this one up quite a lot. Anders Vergang, the only player so far in those two groups to be on double figures. Emre Yilmaz on 7, Manny Bashor, his teammate, on 6, PH Zinn on 4. He just lost to Vergang, and that was why Anders was so disappointed in his performance, winning 4-2. Anyway, you read into that how you like. Nicholas then 4, and Damian on 1. So 2 players a little bit adrift at the bottom there, Dami and Stokes. Long way to go for those players, and Damian, we've already spoken about him. He feels like he's playing really good FIFA, he just hasn't been able to convert it just yet. And Stokes, as you all predicted, he has a storming start to a lot of matches and then just can't seem to hold on, Rich.
I think for Stokes, he knows that if it clicks, he could pick up 4 wins tomorrow when he goes through. It's just all about maintaining that gap, not being too big, and sort of just been on the periphery. As for Damesheet, I don't know who he's annoyed to get this draw, but it's really tough for him. Like, I think we all probably predicted when we looked at Group D and said he would be the bottom marker. Unfortunately, that's the way it is. And I think you've now got 5 teams that are 5 players, should I say, that are battling out for 4 spots.
But to Damsheet's point, I don't think he's played bad. I just think the other players in the group have been a little bit better, had that small edge.
But you can't play good, you've got to play great.
Yeah,
and that's the difference.
But also you question, is his great good enough to beat their great?
Probably not, unfortunately.
And do remember who he actually got a draw against. Anders Vergang, possibly the best player in this group as well. He goes up against PH Zinn next. Again, I hate to say it, he's a world champion only from 48 hours ago, but he probably could take some points from this match.
It's possible. This group we can sit here and go back and forth all we want. You can give me scenarios, I can give you sequences, and I can keep inserting a bunch of different words about it. But at the end of the day, a lot of it comes down to who sees out the games, these big moments, the 90th minute. We've seen a lot of late goals in this. It's just not going to be a predictable group, and I'm okay with that.
We also haven't spoken much about Nicholas. Going under the radar, going off the radar as well, actually, in 5th place at the moment, Alex. 4 points to his name after 4 matches.
One leg FIFA doesn't suit Nicholas.
Got to suit him, though. It suited him last year. He got all the way to the grand final.
I don't know that he'd be sitting better in this group if it was 2 legs.
I think he would.
Also, if he wins his last game, he's on 7 points. We're not going to say he had a bad day then either.
This is the difference, though, right? One leg FIFA probably doesn't suit Nicholas that much. Over 2 legs, he is a much better player, but he's still going to find a way through this group. It's Nicholas.
Someone's got to go.
He's taking on Yilmaz next. Big matchup, that one as well. They're all big matchups, as we know, in this Group D. But Nicholas, he keeps getting out of the chair as well after every single matchup. You possibly read into that as well, that
he's getting his steps in.
Or getting his steps in. Or trying to just take himself out of the situation and bring himself back in every time.
I watched him, actually, because I wondered where he was going. He's the only person who stands up to go and say good game to the other player. Like, he'll walk to their booth and he'll go, yeah, GG's, handshake. Everyone else just sort of sits around and waits.
Well, it is group stages, so that is a very nice thing to do there. Because, Rich, the matches come like this. Snapping your fingers and we're going again like we are right now. And we're talking about that Nicholas matchup. He's taking on Yilmaz.
Also just got to show what stand-up guy he is. Like, a lot of time for Nicholas, and I'm sure there'll be a lot of FIFA fans, not even Argentine, not even Guild fans, just FIFA esports fans who have seen this journey, who, for everything just to be right, he probably needs to go and win this. Like, the heartbreak he's had in this tournament, it only seems right if this is a story, if it's been scripted, that he lifts it.
You just speak to a lot of people. I don't mean just us lot here who are delivering this show to you, but behind the scenes as well. You say, oh, who do you want to win the FIFAe World Cup this year? They go, oh, it'd be a great story, wouldn't it, if Nicholas was to win?
It would be. The problem is, unfortunately, whoever did the groups didn't read the scripts because they put 5 killers in there with Nicholas.
In that defense, though, if you make it out of Group D, it does set you up nicely for a bracket run.
I'll be completely honest, if you make it out of this group in 4th place, you play Tex, get more knockouts.
Okay, if you get... if you finish
Tex,
third,
and then the next player,
if you finish third or better in Group D, it does set you up nicely.
Oh, it does. Look, whatever that first game is, we probably think Tex will top the group if he continues his performances from today. That first knockout game is going to be unbelievable. It might end up being PHN, it might be Nicholas, it could end up being Manu Bashor. You probably think that Anders has done enough not to get dragged into the battle for 4th, but this man is battling hard. PH Zin up against Damesheet. And unfortunately, we spoke about this before the round started. Damesheet just looks to be adrift in this group at the moment, and just results aren't going his way.
Yeah, I think he improved a lot compared to last year, but he's just up against some players who are just having a bit of a higher level, said with all respect, because he's a brilliant player and he still has a part to play. This game is absolutely vital for him. He needs 3 points, and then he needs to figure out how to pave the way through day 2.
And he could end up being the joker at the bottom of the pack that takes points off other players, that means that they won't be able to go through. Paulo Neto is in a tough position in this group, currently in 5th. Johnny, it's been pretty good so far. He's been a solid 7.5 out of 10 in this group, as we do have an opening goal between Emre Yilmaz and Nicholas 99 FC, and it's fallen to Emre Yilmaz, and Nicholas isn't quite getting things his way.
And we've talked so much about Group D, but Group C is shaped up to be a bit of a discussion point. There's a lot of results that maybe didn't go in the way that we would have anticipated coming into this tournament. There's players that are chasing. I don't think the likes of Oberon has really separated himself. Paulo Neto hasn't made that run. Stokes has got a huge result, but he's been struggling at least to get started. And these are more of the household names that are really going to go through Group C.
In this game that we've got on screen right now, RVP Legend up against Stokes. It's a matchup that Stokes probably will relish. RVP, a very attacking player, wants to go forward. We've spoken many times about how Stokes excels against a player that wants to take the game to them as well, not being too patient in that build-up, looking to go forward. So this match for Stokes could be a decisive moment for him in this tournament, should he walk away with 3 points in the last match.
Stokes has the ability to out-offense you. If that's what you're going to do, is go back and forth and try to have a quick tempo game. It definitely plays into his advantage. You see the layoff here, green time finish, didn't need it, but why not? As Vergang gets off to a 1-0 lead.
Nicholas, 1/3 of this game completed already, trailing 1-0. Let's bring Brendan Smith into the conversation. You've got all the games in front of you. You can see all the goals as they fly into the back of the net. Are you surprised with Nico not seemingly doing Nicholas type things? He's not very Iceman at the moment. He's more mild.
Well, he's sort of melting, isn't he, in the group stages as it stands right now. I think what you can add on to what Alex said is he doesn't do well in best of one, but he will still make a way through, make a claim into the knockout stages. Here's been a goal in this game. Johnny leading Paulo Neto by 1-0. Keep in mind that Emre Yilmaz against Nicholas matchup, they played in the Champions League, didn't they? And Emre Yilmaz put quite a few past Nicholas.
Yeah, it was a great game. Nicholas suddenly sort of got back into the game with the constant press late on. We do have a opening goal between Anders Vergang and Manu Bishaw, and there has been somebody on the commentary desk who, on the couch, been bigging up Anders all day long. Agate, gotta be pleased with what you're seeing from your fellow Dane.
Yeah, he just continues scoring goals and getting points to his tally. I mean, if you were to ask me before this day started which player Anders would drop points to, I probably wouldn't have expected that would be Damien, but that must be one positive he can take with him coming on, as we just see another goal.
Yeah, that was 2-0 now, Anders leading. We saw a goal there from Johnny as well. He's 2-0 up, Brandon. It's hard to miss because he's about 6'8", but he's also unbelievable at FIFA.
I mean, I'm looking at that Group C right now as Nicholas is building. That bottom two in Group C is not looking pretty. Paulo Neto, Tom Stokes in there. Lucky there's another day to be played here. Speaking of Tom Stokes, is he leading against RVP Legends? There's been a highlight in the game. Big goal in a must-win game. If RVP Legends is about to throw away his last 2 rounds, I don't know what's happened in that Group C from him.
It's the reverse Tuga. You win 3, lose 2. Tuga opened the day, losing 2, and then picking up 3 wins. So you're still going to be on 9 points. However, you'll be very disappointed coming into tomorrow. You played the bottom markers in the group. It could have been 15.
Yeah, you will think you wasted an opportunity to actually get the job done on day 1. I mean, that's what the players here dreams about. And I remember being in a certain position at the FIFAe World Cup in 18 where I could, with 3 points, go through on day 1, and I missed it. And I went on to have a pretty bad day 2 because I didn't take advantage of that good period. We heard Manu talk about it as well. Oh
God. Anders is playing unbelievable right now at end of day 1. He's smiling, he's laughing. Does he know who he's dealing with in that group? Big names, big FIFA player names that have won trophies, dominated the scene, and he's just finding a way past them all.
Do you know why I think he's so good? He just doesn't care. He doesn't care who he plays against. Accolades, championships, reputation, it all goes out the window. Like he could be playing against me, he scores that goal, he's giving the same celebration to what he's doing if he plays against Manu Bishaw on the main stage.
The fun thing about him as well, or it's kind of unique, but also so odd in my books, way like I can't understand it, is like he puts so much pressure on himself, like by just saying, I'm the best, I'm gonna win, I don't care who I play against, as we just see almost a 4th here. Like, he puts so much pressure on himself, but for him it's just natural, and I think that's the way that he just drives through, and that's a 4. He just enjoys himself now.
4-0 he leads. He's dancing. He's outside his seat. I think he's happy. There's a smile on his face. Yep, he's having a boogie. What a group day in a group of death. We expected there to be maybe some upsets, maybe some storylines, but Anders Vergang is looking to cruise through day one.
Let's have a look at what else is happening around the grounds in our final round of groups here. Johnny, little ball into the box. Is he going to get a third against Paolo Neto? He certainly is. Johnny 3-0 up versus Paolo Neto. We're going to join this game live here. We'll watch this game for the remainder. Emre Yilmaz up against Nicholas. It's tight. Anders is blowing Manu Bashar out the water, but Nico really needs to try and get a win, which he's not going to do because he's losing 2-0.
Wow. I mean, we speak about Nico and he usually always finds a way, but in a group like this, I mean, I think that's the most serious question we ever asked in regards of Nico.
We just saw that PHZin's matchup. Johnny making it 4-0. He's got to be the player of the day over in Group C. There was a penalty miss between RVP Legend and Stokes. It was RVP Legend that had the penalty. Stokes saved it. Stokes still in the lead by a 0-0. 20 minutes on the clock left in that game. But Johnny, just to bring it back to him, he's got to be the player of the day in Group C.
Yeah, I mean, Johnny is absolutely flying. We're going to see this build up here. Stokes brought him down. What was the minute on that? 68th, 69th minute in this game. Stepped up from the spot. Stokes kept his nerve straight down the middle. And that's a huge 3 points if Stokes can pick up. That'll put him on 6 for the day. You start to come out of today thinking, I had a bad start, and you know what? I'm still in the hunt.
I feel like it's a massive 3 points there for Stokes potentially. But there's such a big difference finishing the day with 3 points or 6. Like, it's just different mindset you're coming into day 2 with.
You come in with belief. You come in with just a little bit more confidence that I don't have to play the best FIFA of my life. I can probably get 6 points again, and you go through with 12, even if it is a 4th place finish.
I don't know if you remember rightly, last year in Copenhagen, Nicholas did not have a good day 1. Did not have a good day 1, and we were all a bit like, oh, is he going to make it through? Is he not? Day 2, he came through and gave us a different performance. He was in a difficult group then.
He weren't in this group, though.
Yeah, you could arguably say this group is a lot more difficult. Damien has had an even worse day than Nicholas. Currently sits bottom of that group, 2-0 down to PHZin. But I mean, I think as it stands, Manu Bashar will just be ahead by a point on Nicholas. Power shots! Emre Yilmaz reading the goalkeeper movement. Nicholas teased it, he gets punished. And Emre Yilmaz is cruising to a 3-point gain on the board.
Is Nicholas, I know it's only day 1, I know we spoke a lot about day 1, day 2. As you see PHZin leading 2-0 here. PHZin winning. He was direct competition with Nicholas for that spot. Anders beating Anders Vergang, but also you see Emre Yilmaz starting to pull away as well from Nicholas in that group. Is he in danger of going out?
I think he is. I mean, it's hard to go against him, but looking at the games today,
just not look convincing. Like everybody else in the group has had big wins.
It's really hard because you still have those individual games tomorrow against Manu Bashar and PHZin, but it's going to be really cagey for him, and he needs to find another level tomorrow.
This game only kicked off recently. Oberon up against K1 John. We are underway, and these are live shots, so we perfectly timed it as Oberon opens the lead up against K1 John. Let's head back on over to Emre Yilmaz and Nicholas. What about you, Brandon? I mean, we've watched a lot of Nicholas. I've always had the phrase, never doubt Nicholas.
I know it's not been a good day, but just trust the process.
Well, you've got him winning.
Yeah, I have. Trust the process. As it stands, I'm looking at this Group D. Who's in that rat race?
What's the process?
Well, he's got day 2. He's got 5 more games.
The thing I would be worried about, when was the last time you saw Nicholas losing this heavy? It doesn't happen, really.
Well, it hasn't really happened in the other games. 2-1 across 2 different games. It's probably the biggest blowout. Yes.
You're trying to paint a picture here.
Let's just wait for tomorrow. In it goes. Could be on for a 4th.
We spoke about, and we have been speaking a lot about Anders, but we also need to put credit to Emre Yilmaz. I mean,
outstanding.
He's been amazing as well today and responded so good after that loss to Anders. And those two, I mean, look like they're getting one and second, and could be Nicolas against Tex in the last 16 potentially.
Quite interesting here in the last round of fixtures in Group D. 4-0, 3-0, 3-0. 3 very, very comprehensive victories in this final matchup. PHZin beating Demşit right there. We're going to see the final moments of Emre Yilmaz's win here up against Nicholas. And just wait for this to complete here. Let's head on over to another full time. Paulo Neto against Johnny. Another comprehensive victory. It's a great goal from Paulo Neto, it has to be said, but it's just a consolation with seconds remaining. It's a real peculiar end to the day, Aga.
Yeah, maybe like we had a lot of goals in Group C and D. Maybe just start to, here in the last game, play with a lot of freedom and flow, and if you get behind with 2, you just start to risk it all, and it gets even worse, it seems. So really, really wild games here.
Bizarre end to the day. Let's see Anders Vergang. We've got 20 minutes-ish left on this game. That was a consolation, though, for Manu Bashir. I do think it's going to be too big of a mountain to overturn here. 15 minutes left. The other game that's currently underway, Oberon and K1 John. That's about to hit half-time, and Oberon is leading 2-0. So we'll see the conclusion of that game. We'll stick on this for now. There's only 2 games remaining in the round. Anders Vergang has been nearly flawless.
And this best of 1 is suiting him very much. Best of 1, best of 2, it does not matter. Anders Vergang leads 5-1.
So confident.
Seems like he's having a blast here together with the Saudi Arabian fans.
So we are just in half-time here between Team Exceeds Oberon and K1 John. 2-0. Oberon is currently leading. And he's not been convincing Oberon by any stretch of imagination. Earlier on today, we saw a video from Tex where he mentioned Oberon as one of those players that he's going to be late in the tournament, that he might have to beat in order to win an EU World Cup. But it's not been the most sort of convincing performance.
Oh, definitely not. Well, dropped points in a couple of big games. Lost to RVP Legend 4-3. Drew with Paulo Neto 2-2. Hasn't been perfect, but regardless of it, very much still in that top 4 and still in the conversation of a player that definitely should be making it through to the knockout stages. It'd be nothing more than a consolation here for Manu Bashir, if he can find a way through. It's been a tough day for him as well. Yes, slightly better than Nicholas, but still not fantastic.
I mean, we painted this group at such a competitive margin. It's just been a real, I mean, not necessarily easy, but Vergang has just made it look like any other group.
You can say it. He has
I'll
made
let you
it
say
look
it.
easy.
I'll let you say it. I don't want to say it. I'll let
He
you
has
say
made
it.
it look easy. It's definitely not.
Consolation. Manibur Shaw. 5 goals to 2. Case of just seeing that clock end in Group D, and that'll be Group D concluded for day 1 here. Some massive scores though, right, Rich, as you're right to say. 3-0s, 4-0s, 5-2s. There's a small technical difficulty in the RVP Legend Stokes game. We'll get that back for you as soon as we can. Another goal does go in for Manibur Shaw, but Anders Verge, he's not gonna care. Full-time result there. That is Group D done and dusted for day 1.
Let's just have a look at Oren and K1 John. We can see a goal back here for K1 John. 56 minutes on the clock in this matchup, and K1 John looks to end the day in quite a positive fashion. He picked up a nice victory and just starting to get the ball rolling here in Group C. Ober, on the other hand, needs 3 points if he wants to be one of those players not worrying about battling for 4th.
You would go from a mediocre position to a decent one with a win here. And that counts for both of the players.
Yeah, absolutely.
It would totally change the general impression of the day.
Here's Obron. 5 minutes left to be played in this game. Looking to round out day 1. Solid 8 points on the board if he can hold on. This is it stands right now. RVP Legend versus Stokes is back on the way there. That one's got just over 50 minutes left. These are our last 2 remaining games here in Group C.
Stokes leading 1-0. We're not seeing it for a while. I think we were just in quite a lengthy pause.
He wins that, Rich. Completely shakes up that Group C. As K1 John picks up a couple of points on the conclusion of the Group 2. Very much still could actually pick up a few more if he was to pull this one back against Obron. Let's jump ships if we can and check out RVP Legend Stokes. That one will finish before Obron against K1 John. It's about 10 minutes in front. There we go, jumped over it. There is the current scenario. Stokes in the white strip, kicking from left to right, still the 1-goal lead. Bit of a running race at the back there. RVP Legend, we've got to speak about him for a split second, Dagger. First 3 games was scoring goals for fun.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. Maybe when you get into that position where you know that with one more victory, you can pretty much secure your knockout spot. You start to get maybe a little bit eager. And a little bit too much desperate as well in your game. Some things hasn't worked out as well as the first 3 games, so taking everything into consideration, he'd still be happy, but I think it will be mixed feelings for him.
And what could have changed? Like, you win 3 games in a row and then you sort of fall off a little bit in the last 2.
Maybe he got a bit too desperate in terms of wanting to score goals and decide to go for the first chance he saw, the first occasion, instead of just having that patience and knowing that even 1 point for him per game would be good.
Coming tomorrow, draw all 5 games. Rocking up on 14 points. Probably a 2nd place finish in the group.
Well, after 3 defeats in a row for Stokes, wins this game, will end the day on a solid 6 points. Has to deal with this pressure though from RVP Legend, who is so creative around the box. Scored so many goals, we were rightly talking about there. Chance to break now, Tom Stokes to go and win the game. End the day on a big 6 points is Thierry Henry for Stokes, off the woodwork. And somehow not into the back of the net.
Was it green?
I don't think it was. Chance to break. This could be heartbreak. Could be 2 points dropped if RBP Legends can do enough. Stokes, that's very risky. Happy to play along the back line. That should do us there. Full time. Tom Stokes turns around what could have been a disappointing day one. From 0 points, ending the day with 6. Let's jump across to this one. Obron against K1. John Obron still leading 2-1 with 10 minutes left on the clock in this one. K1 John, the only free agent, as we know, in this tournament, representing Egypt, the first Egyptian to qualify for a FIFAe World Cup Grand Final. The pride he must be feeling is uncanny. Last 6 minutes. And then that is day one concluded here from the FIFAe World Cup. Day two will be back with 5 more group games. Obron, just a bit of game management needed now, really. He'll end today on 8 points from 15. It's not bad, it's more than half. And certainly, they'll be in that top 4 conversation. Last 2 minutes. Plenty of time for one more attack. No, good defending again, Obron. Typical Italian defending, it's organised. Added time of 1 minute. Obron does not need to score again. And that should do us for day one here at the FIFAe World Cup. It's Group C and D concluded. Obron ending the day with 8 points.
Yeah, big result, wasn't it, for the Italian to end out day one here. Goes up to 8 points now after that one. So a good points haul for him to end out day one. And same thing must be said for Tom Stokes there as well, getting another big win over the person that was doing the business, wasn't he, earlier on? RVP Legend had 3 wins on the trot and then unfortunately lost his last 2. But let's go then down to Spen for the last time today. You're with Nicholas. Spen, I'm sure he's a little bit disappointed with that first day.
Yeah, I'm here with Nicholas from Guild. What's your thoughts on day one?
Yeah, so disappointed, but you know, this group is really hard, and also I'm mad because I got a lot of my mistakes, but yeah, that's the game. They don't miss, they are so good, and I don't have to, but yeah, tomorrow is a new day. It happened the same FIFA 19, FIFA 22, and that's okay.
Yeah, we've seen it so many times, haven't we? It's almost better to have a worse group day one than it is day two, if you can make sure that day two is stronger. But you're right, the group is so competitive. What can you do differently tomorrow to make sure you get more points?
The thing is, like, for example, my game against Anders, I didn't deserve to lose. We deserved to draw. The same with PH10. And, for example, against Bachore, we drew, but he deserved to win. So it's really tough, you know what I mean? It's like maybe you deserve some result and you are getting another different. And, yeah, for tomorrow, we have to analyze the game and let's see. But I think I play okay. But maybe I miss or maybe I have, like, sorry for the word, stupid mistakes. But yeah, that's it.
I think that's the most important thing, that you feel you played okay. Do you still believe you'll make it out the group?
Obviously, like I think this group is so hard. Now I am in the 5th. I am 2 points away from Manu, and I think I can make it. I think I'm okay, and I can do better.
I know there's a lot of people in Argentina and across the world that believe in you as well. So good luck tomorrow, Nicholas. Thanks for talking with us. I'm going to cross over here to PH Zin, who has had 7 points today from his games. How do you feel about today?
I started the tournament today very good, but my mistake I lost against Embry. And the rest I played good, but tomorrow I play even better.
What do you need to do tomorrow to get out of the group?
Yeah, always for me is my mentality is just one every game, and yeah, that's it.
And it would mean a lot for you to win this after winning E-Nations 2 days ago.
Yeah. For me, that's amazing, the back-to-back in the Nations. But now I don't have time for the celebration, just focus in the 1v1.
Okay, best of luck, thank you. Well, guys, that concludes Group C and D for today, at least. Tomorrow we're going to finish off the groups and find out exactly who's making it out and who, unfortunately, is going home.
Yeah, thanks so much, Spen, for those interviews, as always. Reading into those a little bit more, for me, I guess Nicholas seems a bit more upbeat, sitting in 5th position, and actually PH Zin, who was in 3rd, who was a bit so-so about his results there, Rich.
I think he probably thinks as though he's not played terrible, and might probably feel as though he could have got more points out of it. Nicholas is always pretty honest, like if he doesn't play well, he'll tell us. And he was like, he made mistakes. He probably got some draws in which he should have lost. He got some draws which he should have won. I think he will sneak through, but it's going to be real tough.
Well, then that's the case of who drops out. If Nicholas sneaks through, we'll use, at the moment, either Manu Bashir or PH Zin. They're only 2 and 3 points ahead, respectively. Let's start, sorry, I'm going to do this, but on Group D, because I'm talking about it already. And we're looking, aren't we, between, at the moment, 3rd, 4th and 5th, really. Only after day 1, Mike, there's still a lot of FIFA to be played.
And I understand Nicholas having optimism. He's been in so many different tournaments, and also, in theory here, if you're lucky, Yilmaz and Bergen continually have that uproar, they're getting the results, they're getting the victories. Therefore, it allows Nicholas to kind of isolate against PHN and Manu Bashir, just needing to beat one of them in order to capture that last spot.
Yeah, and then in Group C, Johnny at the moment, possibly a little bit unlikely. I know a couple of you boys had him to top of the table. Richard's got a thumb up there. RVP legend, like I already mentioned, had 3 wins to start the day, then came unstuck a little bit. Oberon, 8 points next to his name, and then K1, John and Stokes both end the day on 6. Palanetta with a little bit more work to do tomorrow. So big matches tomorrow. Question is Stokes going to go through tomorrow?
It's possible. He's a hard.
It is possible, Mike.
No, but
that is
like,
something that is true.
Stokes is an all-in, all-out type of player, right? So when you analyze somebody's game, he's one of the more difficult players with that, because he can score 7 goals and then concede 7 goals, and there's really few people like that. I think my biggest concern, mostly because I put Paolo Neto to do well, this was probably the worst I've seen Paolo Neto play this year. I was thinking back, because I've seen him play a lot, even online in different tournaments and such. He hasn't had a worse day in action. So that's my bigger concern. I'm glad that he gets a day to go to the hotel and relax, because I'd like to see him come out and at least play better. This is a really surprising group. If you go top to bottom, I don't think people expected K1 John. I don't think people expected, maybe you expected Johnny or even RVP to get off to that good of a start. There's some results in this that I think a lot of people coming in would have said, oh, I expected maybe Oberon to be leading this group, or I expected Paolo Neto to also be in a similar situation, and that's just not what happened.
Quick word on, again, what Nicholas was saying. He deserved a lot of these matches to go in his favour. He was alluding to there. Surely in FIFA you don't get what you deserve all the time, do you?
Life isn't always fair.
It's not always fair at all, and Nicholas came unstuck a little bit, didn't he, today? Well, talking about Nicholas, I believe Alex has a moment from a Nicholas matchup against Manu Bashir, I believe it is, Alex, from earlier on today.
Yeah, exactly that. Nicholas didn't get everything the way that he wanted to, but he did score one excellent goal against Manu, and we're going to break that down for you and show you what it is that you can learn from the Iceman himself. So straight away, I just want to draw your attention to Alphonso Davies. What you need to do is to trigger that L1 button in the direction of Davies to send him on a run. As soon as you do that, that means Davies is going to keep going to look to beat that defensive line. Nicholas with a perfect through ball round the outside of the defensive line. He taps L1 again to send Mbappe into the box. Now Mbappe goes completely offside. He is no longer a threat now. So you can see immediately how Manu is thinking, all right, I need to cover off this space in here. The way that Nicholas baits that ever so slightly is by taking a touch inside. Then he's going to look for the step overs to drive into this byline position. That works excellent for him. And then the player lock, pressing the left analog stick and the right analog stick in together at the same time to then switch from Davies over to Mbappe, pulling him back onside and then just simply pressing the pass button to get another tap in. That is beautiful FIFA from Nicholas, which I'm sure if he can carry on doing that in the attack tomorrow and maybe keep the goals out at the other end, he'll probably have a better day, Rachel.
Well, yeah, we'd like to think so, wouldn't we? Obviously, he was a runner-up in this very tournament last year, so if he does some beautiful FIFA, then I'm sure we'll see much more of him as the competition unfolds. Quick final thoughts then with the couch. Is Nicholas going through, yes or no, Aggie?
Yes.
Stokes, is he going through, yes or no, Mike LaBelle?
I've done the maths. I'm saying he's going to win 3 games tomorrow, and that's going to be 9 points plus 6, 15 points, yes.
Yes, it took a while to get them, yes, in the end. And is Damian going to shake up the top of the table, Richard Buckley?
No.
No, like those answers. Well, that was it, wasn't it, from day one? What did we learn then from groups A and B earlier on today? That Tuga, don't write him off. And in group B, is text back, possibly. And then from this evening, well, we know that Anders very much has the Saudi fans on his side. He loves the attention they are giving him in the house. And guys, that was only day one. We get to do it all again in round 2 tomorrow. Expect more storylines to unfold. We will see you back here, same time, same place tomorrow for day 2 of the FIFAe World Cup. We can't wait. Good night for them.